I say we get this started. And
I know, I'm so excited, dude. Got my hat.
yeah, settle down, Griswold. Settle down.
My wristbands.
Wristbands.
My Wolverine shirt fits better.
Yeah, you look like you're losing weight. You do look like you are.
I've lost 23 pounds.
Since?
3 weeks, I think.
Just to let you know, Bagel is kind of well, I mean, he's special in general, but he's like extra active tonight. So,
he's got some of that cream cheese.
We put cocaine in his cream cheese. It's a bad idea.
Cocaine.
Exactly. So, what's up, nerds? This is Nerds Gone Rogue Radio. I am hosting tonight. It is part 1 of our 2017 Game of the Year celebration. We can't celebrate to our full extent because we are 1 wheel shy of a tricycle. We're moose down. We are one moose shy of being Canadian. Moose is real busy at work tonight, and he is unable to join us. But I am going to crack open some Tired Hands in his honor, and I am going to drink Tired Hands on the show. And I just want him to know that I miss him. I know Corey does too, because we love him around these parts. Even though we talk a ton of shit on the guy.
We only talk shit because we love him.
I think if we're too polite to you, it probably means we don't like you. But cheers, and this is a bad pour. Don't pour beer like this. This is bad. I messed this up.
Cheers. This is not beer, but it's okay.
I've got foam. I've got foam in this.
I've got to cover up the giant M on the front of the can so we don't get flagged. Yeah.
I don't know how well known Tired Hands is, but this is their extra vanilla double milkshake, and I've had 2 in this series, and it is one of the more interesting beers one can drink, and it's really good. So
nice.
So I said
we do have a special guest named Bagel.
Yeah, Bagel is you're probably gonna hear Bagel wandering around or whining. He might start barking. I don't know. It's his world tonight, so I apologize. Well, actually, I don't apologize. Bagel, you do you. Come on up. Come on. There you go. Okay.
There's Bagel.
This is Bagel. We have a bagel instead of a moose, and Bagel is trying to eat my headphone cord. All right, that's cool. So here's what we're doing. We're doing our 2017 Game of the Year kickoff tonight. We're just doing categories. It's not like our official top 10 or anything. We have a plethora of categories we're going to get through, and we're basically going to say, what we've picked as our category winner. And then if we have honorable mentions, we'll mention them along the way. It's not supposed to be a huge deliberation or anything like that.
It's no 25 hours of Giant Bomb.
Yeah, it's not. We could talk for 25 hours, but we wouldn't touch them.
We would still only get like an hour's worth of work done.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because I derail it more so than they do. Anyway, so we have a list, and if I saw correctly, I think Moose actually chimed in via Facebook. But what I think we're going to do is we're going to leave that for another time for now. And you'll get his winners. We're not censoring the Moose. You'll get his winners. We just feel like it would be better if he delivered them rather than us.
Yeah. You're before we get into all this, you're also hosting a kind of like a Friends Game of the Year episode.
Yes, I'm doing a bonus show we'll record that tomorrow. It'll be live on YouTube, but then it will go up sometime after our official Game of the Year goes up. So yeah, that's how we're doing this. Corey, quickly, you playing anything or no?
Actually, I've been kind of dabbling in a lot. Not really like sitting down and really playing everything, but like I've been playing the new Zelda DLC. Not gonna lie, pretty underwhelming. I don't know. Like, if you want more Zelda, and like literally, if what you're doing you love in that game and you want more of it somehow, buy it. If not, you're not really missing anything.
Mhm.
There's a couple cutscenes that are cool, and you get a really rad motorcycle at the end. But for me, who's already done everything,
there actually is a motorcycle in that.
yeah. But you have to beat the DLC to get it, and like for someone like me who's already like got all the shrines or all the Korok seeds, or
So you're probably super over leveled.
well,
Or does that even matter?
it doesn't even matter.
I
But
didn't
like,
think
I don't have any use for the motorcycle because I've already beaten the game and done everything in it.
so.
So
You don't need to go trudging around Hyrule anymore.
yeah, so like the motorcycle is kind of useless to me, which I'm kind of bummed out about, but that's okay. But anyways, it's really just more of the same. There's 4 or 5 cutscenes that have to do with the champions, but they don't. They're no more story driven than the ones that you saw during the Divine Beast. So like, I don't know. They fill in a little bit, but not really. So you're not really missing anything. About halfway through that, and then for some reason, the games I usually hate to play, I've really been kind of wanting to play for some reason. I started playing Resident Evil today, and I hate survival horror and I hate scary games. So I played that for some reason today. Resident Evil Revelations on Switch, and then what else? What else did I play? Played something else. I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2 off and on. Man, that is a PS2 era RPG. Let me tell you. But like, I'm saying that in like the best way possible.
Yeah.
You know, like it's. Ooh, if you want some PS2 JRPG goodness and you don't want to bust out your PS2, this is the game for you. It is grindy. It is very Japanese. It is the combat's pretty much Final Fantasy 12 meets Valkyrie Profile, I want to say.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's really ooh, there's a lot of anime boobs in that game though. Let me tell you. It's yeah. So but and then I'm trying to finish up Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm almost done with the main campaign. I don't know if I'm going to try to do 100% it. I'm already level 36. I'm as leveled up as I'm going to get to do the main story. So that's kind of all I've been playing.
Okay.
But Assassin's Creed Origins really good. Really surprised. Yeah.
Cool.
Very the combat. I like the combat because the combat in that game kind of feels like Bloodborne a little bit. Not like a ton, but
right. I've heard the control scheme is very similar to Soulsborne.
Yeah,
combat.
like you're using the triggers. Wow, bagel is.
I mean, you choose this time to have a podium bagel, really?
You're using the triggers to battle, like to use your attacks, and L1 to shield, and what is it? Square to dodge, and like it feels very Soulsy that way, but super simplified Souls. So
Okay.
like, you know, it's not hard. Like it's just the combat feels like it. So it's fun. I was very surprised at how much I'm enjoying that game, because like Assassin's Creed, since it started, it's been very hit or miss for me. I really only like about 3 games in that series, and this one grabbed me. It's really good.
Cool.
So, and I really like, my favorite thing about Assassin's Creed Origins is the relationship between Bayek and his wife. Like, for such a huge, expansive game that wants you to explore and find every nook and cranny, it really does take the time to have those little character moments and really build out the relationships. And those two in particular are like, I want them to make a sequel to this game, like a straight up sequel that focuses on his wife, because like their connection is so great, but there's so much of the game, and there's so much that she does throughout the game that you don't see, that they could actually probably build an entire game based around her. And I don't know if like the season pass is going to focus on her, or the expanded story content is going to focus on her or not. But their relationship is super cool, and that's really what kept me going through actually wanting to see this game through to the end. So Assassin's Creed Origins really good. I really recommend it.
Cool.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I haven't been playing much. I've actually been kind of devouring. That's him yawning. Okay, now you're just whining. Bagel, come here. Come here, buddy. It's okay.
Bloopers.
Nah, it's not a blooper. Bagel's life is a blooper. Come on. Come on up. Come on. Any day now. Okay, anyway. It's great for the audio listeners. I appreciate that. So I've been playing a ton of The End Is Nigh on Nintendo Switch and Never Stop Sneaking.
How is The End Is Nigh?
The End Is Nigh is
because that's the Binding of Isaac.
It's the Binding of Isaac Super Meat Boy guy. Like
Yeah.
well, Super Meat Boy is Ed McMillan and Tommy Rafinez. I think that's how you say his name. But Binding of Isaac is just Edmund and some other guys that like refined it for consoles. And then as far as I know, it's the Nicalis guys and Edmund McMillan again for The End Is Nigh. And that game is cool. That game, I mean, the easy thing to do is to lump it in with Super Meat Boy. It's not the same. But that doesn't mean it's worse. It doesn't mean it's better either. But it's a difficult platformer, requires precision, timing, things like that. If you like those things with difficulty and repeated deaths and attempting to learn from those deaths, that's a game for you. Never Stop Sneaking is basically a Metal Gear Solid 1 that doesn't take itself seriously at all. And the more I play that game, the more I love it. I think the text dialogue is really good. And I think just the sneaking around and the fact that it is literally a joystick game is it works to its strengths. It doesn't feel lazy. It doesn't really feel overly simple. And it's probably my biggest surprise, at least of the last few months. Like,
nice.
Because Humble Hearts, they did a really good Vanillaware game in Dust and Elysian Tale, and that was their first game.
That game was awesome.
Yeah,
and that game was like just the one guy.
Yeah, like and he did a Vanillaware game.
Yeah,
like
oh my gosh, that game.
Tom Happ did a cool ass thing with Axiom Verge, but Dust and Elysian Tale was Axiom Verge on acid.
Yeah, Dust was awesome. Like compared to like I think like it was so far as like he wrote the music, he did all the programming, he did like he literally did everything for that game except for like the female voice acting, which was I think was like his wife.
Yeah,
did some of the small character actor, like the little like fairy fox thing that follows you around is like his wife.
Yeah, that is the definition of an indie game.
Yeah, like oh my gosh, dude! I bought that game on 360, and like I know it was free on PlayStation Plus, but like if you did not get it when it was free on PlayStation Plus,
buy it.
I buy it because like Dust is one of the best kind of like it's the best indie. I don't want to say like Metroidvania because it's not. It kind of is, but not really. It kind of reminds me of Ori and the Blind Forest a little bit in terms of like feel and art direction almost.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more cartoony than Ori, but like, man, that game is
that game is underrated with a capital underrated.
Yeah.
And I think Never Stop Sneaking is, if you got a Switch, get it. Like I think it's $15. I'm not sure. And I bought it basically because it was Dust, basically because it was the Dust people. And I hate Metal Gear Solid. Like I've never been a fan of it. I don't think it's bad. It's just not my thing. So me going into that and having a blast is that's enough for me to go, hey, people who like this might want to check this out. It won't give you all that Hideo Kojima bullshit, but you'll get something out of it, especially if you want a nice indie game on the go on Switch.
Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe none of the Kojima bullshit in a Metal Gear game would be a good thing.
There's no babies inside Norman Reedus giving you a thumbs up. Mads Mikkelsen isn't in it.
Dude, the more and more I see of Death Stranding, the less and less interested I become.
Like, I'll let the Metal Gear people sort it out. Until I see gameplay, I don't care. I really don't.
Don't get me wrong. Like, the Metal Gear 5 was fun to play. And, like, I don't have any affinity for Metal Gear as a series at all. Like, Metal Gear 5 was literally the first game I played since 2, and I played maybe an hour and a half of 2. Mm-hmm. And, like, I like the gameplay loop in 5. But, dude, that story, I already didn't know anything, and like that game did nothing to help me know what was happening.
Yeah, that's not their job though. Like I feel like the one thing that Dark Souls sort of took from Metal Gear was community discourse.
Yeah.
Because I love the story in Dark Souls. Can I tell you what the story is? Nah. Because it's so up to interpretation. I would actually say if you want to know what the story is, basically light is fading and you have a choice to either reignite or let it fade. That's really the crux of Dark Souls. There are tomes of lore in the game, and having read every single item description and talked to every NPC, I have like some thoughts on the actual story, but like I would point you to YouTubers that do it better than I will. But that's another thing. Also, I've been playing Dark Souls 3. As I said last week, I reconnected with my boy Ahmed, the official Dr. Blood Souls. He's not Shaniqua. That's always me. He had some time and I had some mornings free, so we started playing the DLC. We beat the Ashes of Ariandel and we beat the Ring City, and man, those like I am reinvested in Souls in a way that I've not been since I first got into them. And so you're going to see a lot of me talking about Dark Souls in the coming months. I can just tell you right now. Get excited or get wrecked. I don't know. Let's go to the reason we are here. Our first category of 2017's Nerds Gone Rogue Game of the Year is, we didn't play everything because we have jobs and responsibilities. So it's basically it's the most disappointing game we played.
Right. Dude,
hopefully the most disappointing thing is not listening to this show.
No, dude. Power of editing. Or lack of. I mean, look, I played enough games this year to be disappointed. And
oh yeah.
I mean, I have like 5 things on my most disappointing game list this year.
Okay. I only have 2. I really only have 2 that I was just like, and none of them, and the fact that they're disappointing doesn't mean they're bad. Because 2 of them actually end up on my top 10 list. Both of them do. I mean, spoiler alert.
I mean, I feel the same way, dude. I made a top 10 list, and like 3 of these games are on my top 10 list. So like, I guess it shows you how many games we played this year.
Yeah,
but
11.
No. Yeah. I mean, if I played games to completion, maybe it might come out to 11.
Yeah.
But anyways. Do you want me to start, I guess?
Yeah, go right ahead.
All right. I have honorable mentions on here. Breath of the Wild DLC was like, I don't want to say it was disappointing, but it was super underwhelming, I would say. Just more of the same, and I wanted like this big story set piece, and I'm like, oh, it's Nintendo and Zelda. Of course, we're not really getting that with this game. But like, cutscenes, like I said at the beginning of the show, it's cutscenes didn't really fill me in on anything I didn't already know. Like the character, it was cool to see those characters again, but at the same time, it's like it wasn't really needed. Shrines though were cool. Shrines are probably some of the best in the entire game. Fire Emblem Echoes came out this year. Disappointing for two reasons. One, it wasn't really the Fire Emblem game I really wanted. I think the free mobile game was better than Fire Emblem Echoes. And I don't. When I play Fire Emblem, I don't want a dungeon crawler, dude. I want some strategy action.
Okay.
And like it was in there, but they also had a lot of dungeon crawling stuff, and it was just strange.
So is it like a thing you're just is it just they had dungeon crawling in my strategy, or is it more of you're just not a fan of dungeon crawlers? Or
no, here's the thing, like this game is a remake of the Fire Emblem game that never came out here for NES or Super NES or something. And like it did that thing that Zelda 2 did where it like changed the game dramatically.
Okay.
And like they have like the strategy elements in there, but then like you go dungeon crawling and then you have like this party, and like the relationship stuff wasn't really integrated the way that it was in Fates. And it was just like, I didn't play enough of it to really like get deep into the mechanics of the game, just because I was like really disappointed at how the game kind of started out. So, I mean, that was kind of disappointing because I love Fire Emblem. And I was also sad that it wasn't on Switch because it was stuck on 3DS, which, look, 3DS is a great console. It's 7 years old. Switch is here. I mean, it's time to move on.
Yeah, it's time. I mean, the Vita's 5 years old now?
Yeah.
And, I mean, Sony is basically looking for ways to tie it to a tree and bash its head in with a shovel. Nintendo, right. Take some notes. You have a Switch that's really, really good. You should focus all your portable energy there.
Yeah.
What else?
Mario Odyssey was pretty disappointing to me.
I'll dovetail onto you. That's one of my more disappointing ones. It's a great goddamn game, but it's just like there was something that didn't make me want to complete it. Like, well, I finished the game, I beat it, but like I didn't care about the moons. I just didn't.
Yeah. Look, like it tried to do what Zelda did for me, like it tried to do what Zelda did so successfully and put it into the Mario formula. And like the sense of exploration and the moons and stuff was not the same as the shrines of the Korok seeds to me. And like I didn't feel the need to go collect all the moons, and it was super overwhelming. Where like Zelda, the point of the game is like a sense of exploration and like puzzle solving and stuff, whereas Mario to me is like it's the Mario 64 formula where you jump into the world, you know which star or moon you're going after, and like you track it down, and then once you get it, like I don't care that you stay in the world, but like you always know what your next objective is. Where like there's so many moons that like some of them I just walked up to and like it was just sitting there, and then other ones made you do all these ridiculous like cap jumps, and like you're wondering like is that really something over there? And like I don't know, it's just my favorite Mario game was Mario 3D World on the Wii U. Like
that's your favorite Mario game ever?
Not ever, but like
recent
of like the 3D-ish Mario games. Okay. Like that's what I like in a Mario game, where like I have a sense of direction. I know how the world ends, and like I can explore little bits and pieces in it to get the 3 green stars or the 3 whatevers, so I don't know, Mario Odyssey, like I said that going in though when I was playing it, like I was like Mario's not like my thing. I like the 2D Marios a lot, and I like 3D World a whole bunch. It's actually my favorite game on the Wii U, I think. Besides Breath of the Wild, but for me, Breath of the Wild's a Switch game. But
exactly, I agree with you there.
So that was not as it wasn't. I don't know. Disappointing is a weird word to say, but other than that, my most disappointing game this year was Destiny 2. It was just like I had so much fun that first like few hours, like the first I don't know, probably 15 hours of that game. And then you're just kind of stuck wondering, like, what do we do? Like, what are we doing here? You know?
Yeah.
Like, this is, I don't even know how to explain how disappointed I was in that game. And like, I played through the new campaign, the Curse of Osiris campaign, which was probably the worst campaign they've put out since Crota's End for Destiny 1. And they didn't even have a new raid in there, like even a bad raid like Crota. Not that Crota was a bad raid. It was just not a exciting raid like Vault of Glass was. And then like they add these things called raid layers. That's like, I don't know. Okay, that's cool. I still haven't done one. Still don't care.
Okay.
Like there's nothing. Everything in that game is just ridiculously disappointing. And like we talked a lot about it on Arsenal X last week, maybe, about how disappointing Destiny was. So like I'm not going to get into it here. But like the fact that you can't just simply buy a gun that you like, the type of gun you want, even if it's not the exact gun you want. Like if I'm comfortable with auto rifles, there's a chance that I will never ever come across one. Like there's just a chance I will never come across one. And that's dumb. That's just dumb. That's just kind of bad game design. You know? So that game was super disappointing. I might not even go back until the next like the next major like Taken King type expansion.
Okay.
Like I don't even care about the second expansion that's supposed to come out in February or March. Like I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
And like a couple of my friends messaged me the other night. They're like, "Hey, you want to raid?" I'm like,
"No."
Why? I'm like, no. I texted them. I was like, "Why?" They're like, "Something to do." I'm like, I've got 30 other games to play. I'm not going to sit here and play one I don't want to play just because you guys want to raid. And I'm like, sorry, but I'm just trying to be real with you. You know,
Yeah,
I'm not going to get stuck in this. I'm not going to get stuck in the Destiny loop like I did a couple years ago, you know? And like, that was a good loop. That was a fun loop. And I still felt like I was getting sucked in, like stuck. So yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot wrong with that game. And I hope they fix it because I like that series a lot, but until they fix it, it's like I don't need to play it. Like I really don't need to play it.
Okay. And see, like,
so
I was kind of, I thought, I mean, I've said this multiple places. I thought that Destiny 1 was sort of saved by its mechanics, and that wasn't enough for me to come back.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's true. Like Destiny 2 has some of the best first-person shooter mechanics on console, and that's not enough to save it because like the changes they made to PvP stuff, like the team shooting stuff is bad. Like you can't, like every time you go one-on-one with somebody, you're trading kills. Like even if you're not great at it, you're just trading kills because the time to kill is so long that you need to travel in packs. You need to travel in groups. And changing it from 6v6 to 4v4 also didn't help. And the fact that you can't even choose what game type you want to play also sucks. Like,
yeah, that's lame.
If I want to play Control, like that, I can't even say I want to play Control. I have to go into this multiplayer hopper and hope that that's the game mode I get.
Yeah,
so, like, there's not even any reason to play that.
I mean, I feel like several first-person shooters have gotten it, maybe not fully correct, but more correct.
Well, they had it correct in Destiny 1. Like that whole thing, you could choose what game.
But see again, but what I'm getting to there is like the whole thing just disappointed me in a way that great shooting could not save it. And Destiny 1 had some of the best shooting I've ever played. It was so like moment-to-moment shooting was so fun, but like once you start getting overburdened by lore, it becomes a problem, especially when it's lore that is, you know, beat you over the head important. And here's the thing, beat you over the head important lore, if it's not good, nobody cares. And I feel like more people in Destiny 1 didn't care about the lore. and I know that there are podcasts, multiple podcasts that have been going.
I mean,
since
I
Destiny
used
started.
to have a popular
We
Destiny
did.
one.
We did. Well, you did it. DNA. You did. Yes. But the thing is, I think the way that you and Brian sort of approached the Destiny podcast was more of like the loadout meta rather than the lore.
Yeah.
Does that make more sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's pretty true. I mean, we did some lore stuff, like especially when Joey was on,
Yeah,
but
because
like,
that's Joey's jam.
yeah. But like at the same time, like I even talked to Joey last week about it. He's like, I already got rid of Destiny because it's like not doing it for me. It's like like he's like, this is terrible. There's so many other games that like are treating their players with, the respecting their intelligence and respecting their playtime. Like his two jams right now are like Final Fantasy 14 still and Path of Exile, and those are two games that are delivering the content that Destiny players sorely want and sorely need. And those are games that are doing it like weekly, not just monthly or
whenever there's
months.
a new expansion or whatever. Those
games consistent. Are doing it weekly. And it's something Blizzard does well too. With Diablo and Overwatch especially, and even Nintendo,
everything they touch, they just know how to pay it the proper respect.
Yeah, even like Nintendo to an extent is doing it monthly with Splatoon and ARMS. Those. I mean, they're getting free maps and new characters and new weapons and everything. Like, so I mean, as when the show posts, on podcast services, like ARMS just released a new character. It's like their 5th new character since the game came out.
Yeah, you love that game.
Dude, I mean,
I'll be honest.
It's not my top 10, but it is a solid, fun, stupid game that I cannot believe I like so much.
It's one of those things. It's one of those things that has just captured your heart, and I'm actually glad that it has. Mainly because, two reasons. One of them is selfish. I'll just say it. I'm not going to play ARMS unless someone comes and says, "Hey," comes in front of my face physically and says, "Hey, play ARMS," and then see if you want to buy it. But I also like the fact that it's another weird new Nintendo thing that has caught the heart and mind of somebody I respect. So,
and the one major complaint of ARMS that I had when the game came out, 6 weeks later they fixed it, which was customizable controls. You can map any move to any button on the stupid controller.
Nice.
Like if you want to punch with the left stick, you can punch with the left stick.
Why not?
If you want to punch with your left arm with right on the D-pad,
cool.
You can do that.
Awesome.
If you want to jump with I don't know.
Anything you want.
Yep. There. You can do it.
Finally.
So
okay. So anything else on your disappointing list, or is that pretty much it?
No, that was it.
Okay. For me, I was also disappointed by Odyssey. I still think that game I still had so much fun with that game.
But, it's a blast.
Oh man. It is one, like, you don't like 3D Marios, but I think that is one of the best 3D Marios that have come out. And granted, only like 5 or 6 of them can really be considered. Well, I think that's all of them. Because 64, Sunshine,
Galaxy 1 and 2,
3D World, right?
Yeah, and some people don't even count 3D World as a 3D Mario, but
it's like that and Sunshine are odd ducks because they're like a 2D 3D mashup. That's not it doesn't seem to really embrace the 3D. But I think Odyssey is a phenomenal game. It is on my top 10 list. But for some reason, like usually in Mario games, I want to get everything. I have a motivation to get everything. This time I did not care. But that doesn't mean I had any less fun with that game than I usually do. The other one, specifically the campaign, Splatoon 2. Campaign's not good.
No. I mean,
It's not good. Like a Splatoon 1 had a genuinely good campaign. I had so much fun playing.
it's
Splatoon
spoilers.
1.
Spoilers for Splatoon 2. The end boss is the same boss as the Splatoon 1 campaign
Yeah,
boss.
no, it's yeah, but like I'll be honest, there has been a weird trend of getting a lot of platforming in shooters lately. And that's I mean, Splatoon is the third person perspective. The platforming's not good.
No.
But and the way that Nintendo sort of coalesces that final world, like that was really the only issue I had with the campaign is the final world. It coalesced everything you've done up to that point into the world, which by logic standards is kind of ingenious, except it's not new. But it just does not work. And and I'm pretty sure that if a ton of people watch us, they'll say, "Oh, well, that's just because you're not good at it." I don't think that's it. I think the platforming is relatively inaccurate.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think the requirements, I mean, I like the fact that most of the missions required use of a certain weapon. So it teaches you how to use the weapon. It teaches you when it's appropriate.
Yeah.
But the free jazz a lot of the final world did not do it for me at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I still completed it. And that game will still be on my top 10 because the multiplayer is it's some of the most fun multiplayer I've ever had the liberty to play.
Yeah.
Also, and I'm just going to say this, I think the gameplay of Wolfenstein 2 is bad.
Yeah,
I just think it's bad.
I'm getting it for Christmas, so like I haven't played it yet, and like the whole thing, like everything, even like Giant Bomb especially, was like, look, it is a great story-driven shooter.
Exactly.
The gameplay is bad, so if you just want the story, put it on easy and just fly through it.
Oh yeah, that's
that's what I'm gonna do.
For our spoiler cast, that's exactly what I did. And I have no shame and freaking whatever. Come at me, whoever you want. I enjoyed the hell out of that campaign. The shooting sucks. I don't care about Mein Leben mode. I don't care about any of that. If it was a better shooter, I would play it. But that I'm at the end of the spoiler cast, I said it's not on my game of the year list. I'm not fully done, and I think it might still make it, but I don't want to. I don't want to let too many cats out of too many bags. Let's move on to the next category before we get on tangents. Best old game.
I have two on my list on this because like I played two kind of old games this year, and some of it is because DLC came out, and some of it is just because I wanted to play more of it. Axiom Verge. I played
That's a good ass game.
I finished it this year. And I'm actually looking forward to kind of playing it again on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
That game is great. And
it is.
That is a Metroid game. And I'm not talking Super Metroid. I'm talking
that is Metroid.
Yeah. And like, which I actually prefer the original Metroid over Super Metroid, and I know I'm like the rare case for that. But Final Fantasy 15 was another game this year that I played and finished, and actually, a lot of the stuff they're doing with the season pass and the DLC stuff is like super intriguing to me, to the point where like I actually bought the season pass last week. And I actually want to check out those episodes because they're filling out the missing pieces of the story. And the kind of multiplayer mode, but not really, seems really awesome. So like Final Fantasy 15 is kind of like really re-entered my gaming sphere. And like I'm surprised because like the more I thought about that game, like after I played it, I was like, this game's good. I don't know how I really feel about it in terms of like my favorite Final Fantasy games that I've ever played. But like I have actually thought more about that game this year than I have in like most other games besides Zelda and Horizon. And like I really liked that game. So like, yeah.
It was not the best game of 2016. I don't care what the NGR radio final tally says.
It's Joey's fault. You can blame Joey.
I don't want to blame Joey because I like Joey.
I know, but that was his game of the year last year.
I know. It's fine. It's fine. I'm still just pissed.
You're just mad because it beat out.
Dark Souls was so close. It was so close.
Hey, at least we didn't pick an expansion to beat Dark Souls.
Yeah, right. God. Game Awards. So I have a couple I'm going to mention. Almost immediately getting into 2017, I found 2 2016 games that, like, from almost starting them up, like, I realized, man, I fucked up not playing this in 2016. They were Overwatch and Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2. Go ahead.
I was say 2 games that I still really like too, that I play periodically.
Like Overwatch is such a cool thing. It is such a cool thing. And just because I know there's a potential for Ed to listen to us, it's not Borderlands. Quit comparing the two. Overwatch is it's the interestingness of the Splatoon campaign with deeper teamwork and a necessity for a deeper understanding of just how the game is supposed to be played. And I also like that it can be, I mean, sure, you know, I think the immediate and possibly incorrect statements around that game were always like, it comes from MOBAs, but it's not a MOBA. When I was still on Platinum Achievements, I listened to Chris Haar didactically tell me why it was not a MOBA, and then I just felt like trolling him because of it. But there's so much that is cool about Overwatch that I still have it on my system, and if there were people that wanted to play and they said, hey, come play Overwatch, I might do it.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of Overwatch, we still need to play Overwatch and Fortnite together.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But also, like, Titanfall 2 is like, people throw around best and favorites. I think that might actually be one of my favorite shooters that I've ever played. I think the mech stuff is really cool, and you know, I just like running through that campaign and running and gunning the way that I did. But my favorite old game of 2017 is a two-way tie. Dark Souls 3 and wait for it, because I know you're probably thinking Bloodborne, but I'm not, Moose. Windjammers.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Spelunky.
Windjammers coming back. Well, Spelunky, like, I never stopped playing. like the only thing that has halted my Spelunky play is the fact that I had to sell my Vita to get a Switch. And I still boot it up on my PS4 regularly. Dark Soul, the Soulsborne series has my heart in a way that I don't see it letting go in a very long time. And Windjammers is one of those games that I booted it up on my PS4 when it was released earlier this year, and I'm just like, man, I felt like I was, a kid again in the quick shop near my house playing that on a Neo Geo while everybody else yelled at me because they wanted to play Samurai Goddamn Showdown. Like I'm like, no, I'm playing Windjammers and I'm winning. You gotta wait. I see your quarters here. When I lose, and they would try and do everything to make me lose, and it took me forever to lose games to the computer in that on the arcade, but one of the, like I would always get that one guy who I knew was a regular who loved to play the Samurai Showdown stuff. He'd be like, okay, if I make you lose, you get to play me in Samurai Showdown, and then when I beat you, you can leave. All right, I would pick, I think it was, now I might be getting my games mixed up because I am not a fighting game encyclopedia, but I'm pretty sure Samurai Showdown had a character named Caffeine Nicotine. It's a short dude in one of those triangle hats. And I would pick him and beat that guy. Now, unless my memory is, faulty like most human memory is, which it is me. I always loved getting that sort of karmic retribution really quickly. Then he'd beat me eventually, and I'd go and I'd ride my bike home. But yeah, so Windjammers and Dark Souls 3 are my two old games of 2017. Next up, Corey. I'm going to start this one.
Okay.
This is Best Combat. And I feel like I know where you're going to go.
I don't think you do.
I probably don't, but I feel like I do. But my favorite combat of 2017 by a ways is Neo. Team Ninja did a thing this year. Neo is a special game that in my mind will be revisited frequently for a while. I love the way that combat builds from step to step. It's not super difficult, and at the same time, it can be as difficult or as easy as you want it to be, and you can still get through the game. There are nuances that if you learn them, it makes things a lot easier. But I love the fact that you don't have to get super deep into combat in order to get through the game. When I finally started exploring that, I was like, oh, all these ideas. But Neo is really cool. And it's honorable mentions Horizon Zero Dawn for sure, because that combat's just fun. Like my problem with finishing the Frozen Wilds, I just want to go fight stuff. Like that's really what I do. I just like, you know what? That bear thing, you're gonna die. I just want to go fight stuff in that game. And then also right on the same level is I think Breath of the Wild's combat is it is a great piece of just mechanical work.
It's the best combat Zelda's ever had, I think.
And that's also because it's not super deep, but it's super effective at every level of that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to learn some difficult fancy moveset to beat divine beasts. And what are those? The Guardians. The fact that you could just do a little thing, you could do a little swing with a pot lid and kill them, like that is something straight out of Dark Souls.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that like they decided to go that way with it. So kudos to all of that. The only other real honorable mention is I think the shooting in Splatoon multiplayer is so good. Just going to say that. And then also in Never Stop Sneaking, when if you actually decide to just run through a level and you have resources to use, doing multiple things at one time makes you feel like a fucking badass. And Corey, your turn.
Yeah. Before I give mine, I haven't played Neo yet. I really want to. Like, it's a game on my list of things that I really want to play. Like going into next year. Like, talk about a team that came out of just a garbage game in Ninja Gaiden 3 and coming out and really just nailing it with Neo. Like, holy crap, dude. Like, I didn't know they were ever going to come out of that, and they did. And
like, I'll be real with you. I love the game. There's a lot that's dumb about it, but I love it.
yeah,
And I've not had. There have only been a few things that have been more fun than Neo this year. Only a few.
Okay, so combat. Honorable mentions, Breath of the Wild. Like, it's not super deep, but the systems in that game make it so you can make it kind of as deep as you want or as simple as you want.
Yeah.
Horizon, like, it probably would have won my best combat if, like, my whole complaint about that game is, like, I don't think Aloy is as agile as I think she should be.
Yeah.
And like that kind of affects the combat and how I feel about the combat. But other than that, like, setting traps is super fun. Setting up tripwire in like the fire bomb bags and just lining them up and taunting a sawtooth to run at you and watching it just blow up is just one of the most satisfying things I've ever done, I think.
But then there's that, and then if you get to the point where you can take charge of everything, and then you said, okay, I want this thing to fight those things, or these two things of equal size and stature to fight each other.
And then, like,
it's so good.
And as you upgrade your hacking, like, getting the bigger robots to fight for you is just,
it's great.
My gosh, it's so great. Much fun.
At one point, I watched a Thunderjaw take out a bunch of those. What are the Watcher ones? Are they just Watchers?
The Watchers, yeah.
The ones that just look at stuff. They're like the tiny things you can beat up at the beginning of the game. Yeah. I watched this thing just decimate 10 of those without anything happening to it. I felt powerful. It was cool.
Yeah. Mr. Shifty is a really cool indie game that's kind of like Hotline Miami meets Nightcrawler from X-Men.
Now, not to be confused with Rick and Morty getting Swifty. Yeah. But this is Mr. Shifty.
Yeah, that game, oh my gosh, when it came to Switch, like, it was a hot mess, but like 2 weeks later they patched it and it worked like a charm. That game is super fun, man. Like, that combat is super fun as you like teleport across the level, watching guys chase you, and then you kind of teleport behind them and just beat them up, and then teleport behind them again as they turn around, picking up the different weapons and the different items around the stage. Super cool. But my game with the best combat is Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yeah,
I think that game has the best combat of any game I played this year. It's it feels right. It's that just like the weight of the character feels right. The weight of the weapons feel really good. Timing your stuns with your power attacks and your charge attacks feels really good. The fact that, like, when you're fighting a bunch of archers and when you upgrade your skill tree, you can take the arrows out of your shield and use them and turn around and just take them out. And like, when you get the warrior bows that shoot like 3 arrows at the same time, and you get 3 archers standing next to each other and you can headshot all 3 of them at the same time, is one of the most satisfying things I think I've done in video games.
Cool.
So, but yeah, man, this game surprised me on so many levels. And like, if this was any other year, like, it would be probably my game of the year for sure. Like, it just surprised me on so many different levels, and the combat is definitely one of them. So, yeah.
2017's been a good year.
Yeah.
Okay, so
4 games.
Move on to next category.
Yeah, what? Best controls.
Best controls. I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna do basically a rehash of combat, Neo, Breath of the Wild. I have them as a tie. Neither one of them is an honorable mention. I guess if I had to put an honorable mention, I'd say Never Stop Sneaking, just because it's just a joystick. Everything's done for you, and you still feel cool doing it. But yeah, yours, sir.
Uh, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I know that's kind of a cop out. There's an honorable mention. Mario Kart.
Okay. All right. Fine.
It's an honorable mention. Just
Well, these
because,
are personal lists. I'm not going to be.
yeah, I'm not gonna pick a port for any category to win, but like they definitely deserve honorable mentions. Mario Kart 8's the best Mario Kart I think
Yeah.
ever. So like I love the way that game feels, and like, oh, I know we're gonna get the best moment later, and I have a really good moment, a Mario Kart moment from this year.
All
Oh
right.
my gosh, it was so good. Breath of the Wild controls feel really good, especially when you switch, the jump button to the correct place on the controller and not
Yeah.
the top button. Which still sprint at the Y, triangle, Y, X, whatever. I don't know. These buttons just need. These controllers just need to have the same button combination.
I don't know what they're doing.
Horizon. I think Horizon, like, despite how I feel about the combat
Or the agility.
or the agility, like, I think has the best control scheme of games this year.
Okay.
Like, I like the way that game controls. I like the button layouts. I like the UI. I like how you switch weapons. I like how you can just call your mount and it's there and you ride it and you can. I just think it has the best controls. Honestly, like, as much as I love Zelda and Assassin's Creed, like, Horizon wins controls for me. Like, I wish every game had Horizon's controls.
Yeah.
Great.
I agree with you.
So
I agree with you completely. I mean, I feel like the way a standard has sort of been achieved with shooters, like, I feel like combat is on its way there finally.
yeah.
So our next one is. Hang on, we added a category today, and I forgot if that was this or. Either way, I have my answer, but I just don't remember if I have the right order. Okay, it is best DLC next.
Best DLC.
Yes.
I have two games for this category, and it's a tie. And
Okay.
these are the only games that I feel like deserve to be mentioned in this thing. Horizon Zero Dawn, Frozen Wilds.
Uh-huh.
Probably, like, from what I expected going into what they delivered, is probably the best DLC of the year for me. But then Final Fantasy 15, the episodes made that game better in every possible way. And, like, if DLC that you're looking forward to just makes the game that you already like that much better, like, yeah, Final Fantasy 15's DLC was really good. So
Okay.
all the stuff I've played is good. So
All right.
I don't really have anything else really to say about it. I just Horizon and Final Fantasy have some of the best DLC that's come out in a long time.
My top DLC was released in March, and it is Dark Souls 3, The Ring City. Probably not a surprise, but I also think that out of that DLC came a lot of revelations about games past, as well as they made it fit together in a way that is kind of impressive, because I'm not going to go into everything, but like they basically said, hey, we're ending this, essentially. Now, Miyazaki, as well as spokespeople for From Software, have gone on record saying both the Souls series is done, and they don't want to do a Souls-born game for years. They want to just be done with it for a while, which leads me to believe that, like, the Shadows Die Twice thing, it's not going to be a It's not going to fall into the lineage of Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, or even Kingsfield, because there's a lot from that game that pops up in both the Souls series as well as Bloodborne. But I like the fact that they have said, this is final as far as we're concerned right now, and I think they did that with the story. Oh snap! Oh snap!
Uh-oh. Moose is here.
Moose is here. Okay, Moose. Here we go.
What's up, party people?
Let's catch up. We're all the way to DLC. So
Jesus.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna blow through yours right now.
Have you covered mine, or were you?
No, because I didn't know we had the idea of either having you do yours tomorrow if you weren't gonna make it tonight, or integrating it later.
All right, I can blow through these.
So
Wait, I just want to clarify best old game. Is that like, does that have to be like old, or is it like?
Well, it's game that you played in 2017 that you didn't play before. You didn't play the year it came out. Okay. So if you decided for some reason you really wanted to get down with Arkanoid and that hit you in a special way, you could have that.
No.
So
because when I was driving home, I was like thinking like maybe I misread it and it was best old school game, because I have a title for that too. But anyways,
we'll take it. Why not?
It's delicious. Hakuna Matata, tropical IPA. Very good. Anyways, so
I've got Oblavex.
I'm stopping at side note, I'm stopping at the beer store tomorrow. I'm picking up some delicious Burial beer that John posts about from
I like how it's just a beer store. He just calls it a beer store.
It is a beer store. Dude, you walk in, there's like 16 taps, and then he has coolers. So he's got cold beer or he has warm beer. And you just pick your it's called Ultimate Ales, and you just pick your beer and you go.
Well, see, and Moose grew up in PA where everything is separate. Like you can't go into a grocery store and buy beer.
Mm-hmm. Down here you can, which is nice. Anyways, so let's get to it. Hey, Moose. You can move here.
I know, I need to. Most disappointing game of 2017.
Destiny 2.
I'm pretty sure you're going to dovetail on a lot of what Corey said, because that was his too.
Probably. Yeah. I was expecting a lot out of that.
Yeah, mine was a combination of a Splatoon's campaign and the unnecessary. Like, I didn't feel it necessary to stay in Super Mario Odyssey.
So it was compelling enough.
Yeah, like I finished it, but like at the end of it, I'm like, I don't care about the moons. I'd rather go get all the Korok seeds. Best old game.
Dark Souls 3.
Now this shocks me. This genuinely shocks me.
Mm-hmm.
Not Bloodborne.
Well, no, because I played a lot. I did play a lot of Bloodborne this year, but I mostly played Bloodborne last year. That makes sense.
Okay.
So, and really, best old game for me can kind of be the slash category. Game I played in 2016, or game I played in 2017. I should have played in 2016. Okay. So that's why I put it on there.
Okay.
That, because that was kind of the same category for me.
Because when I saw it, I'm like, wow, there's hope for Moose.
Not yet.
best combat.
Nier Automata.
Really?
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that combat. It was a tie between that and Neo. Mm-hmm. But I gave Neo another category.
Yeah, so. Neo was mine, and Nier did not even make the honorable mentions. I liked it, but it. Anyway,
I just thought like
Nier wins some other categories. I'll be real.
I think it mixes a lot of the. I think they did a great job of mixing all the different styles together. Because like it's a 2D side-scrolling shooter. Or it's a top-down shooter. It's like a Raiden, or a twin-stick shooter. Then it's like a Raiden shooter. I mean, it's like it's all over the board.
It's Assassin's Creed Animus stuff. Yeah, like it's crazy.
They did a really great job, I feel, with the combat in that game. So, anyways,
Best controls.
Neo.
Neo, yeah, I'm with you. That's a good one. That was a tie. Legend of Zelda and Neo were mine.
Corey,
And then-
what was Corey's? Just like
For
I need
what?
to hear
For
his.
what?
Best
Best controls.
Oh, best controls. Horizon. Best
Okay.
controls.
Okay. All right.
Which, like, I'm basing that based off like what you could do and where the buttons were placed on the controller, and like switching weapons is super convenient and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not basing that off of like I wish Aloy was more agile, so like I didn't take anything away from the controls for that. So
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now we are up to best DLC. Corey, what were yours again?
Horizon Zero Dawn with the Frozen Wilds and Final Fantasy 15's episodes.
Okay. Mine, just because we were in the middle of mine when you showed up. My far and away number one is Dark Souls 3's Ring City DLC. Second is Horizon Zero Dawn's Frozen Wilds. Third, and the only reason this is third is because I actually haven't had a chance to play it. But based on what I know about it, I am more excited to play it than anything. It is XCOM 2's War of the Chosen. I think they do a lot. They do a lot of. It's the first thing I've known to really attempt incorporating Shadow of Mordor's Nemesis system, and I'm super excited to finally dig into that.
So originally I had Horizon Zero Dawn as my favorite the best DLC, but I forgot that Dark Souls 3 last final DLC came out this year. So I'm actually going to put that at number one. I'm going to put Horizon Zero Dawn at number two. And then I don't really have a third.
That's okay.
Because I mean, I can't remember. I would say I would have to go with you. It would have to be DLC that I haven't played because I heard it's so good. I just haven't gotten to it. But the Neo DLC, like any of the patches, not patches, but any of the 3 DLC for that. So that is a game I'm definitely looking forward to finishing next year and platinuming next year. Like I said, I wasn't playing it just because I was waiting for my guide to come to polish it off, and then they were like, "Well, we're canceling that." So, anyways, that's that. Best DLC. Whew. Is he? He's going to take a piss. Corey, how you doing, man?
Doing good. I'm like, I don't know. For it being almost midnight, I'm pretty awake and pretty energetic and pretty.
I'm not fading as fast as I thought I would, because like you guys were still recording, and I was like, all right. Actually, you know what? I didn't even read his comment, and that was my guess. Like that was a total guess. That's what he was doing. Anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah, like, oh, it was a rough day today.
Yeah, dude. It sounds like you had like a crazy long day. That sounds
14.
awful.
It was 14 and a half hours when I left, and I took an hour and a half lunch. So you can imagine.
Jeez.
Well, I mean, I took an hour lunch, and then so we collected money for our cleaning lady who cleans our floor, the offices we work in, and ended up collecting like $370 for Christmas. You know, like a thank you for like, hey, you know, thank you for cleaning our offices. So I had to run out to an ATM and get that, and so it was a little bit longer than an hour, but I don't know if it was an hour and a half. And so I came back and it was just a rough end of the day. And we were down a production artist because she had to leave early so she could go home and get ready to drive to Louisiana tomorrow. She lives in Baton Rouge. And I'm just like, this is rough. I'm like, I'm not even going to get to record. So
Yeah.
it's just, and plus we're on an accelerated schedule because we're trying to have to be able to not work Monday and New Year's Day. So I mean, I wouldn't come in Christmas anyways. They can kiss my fucking ass. New Year's I might have came in, you know. I don't know if we get, you know, I don't know if that's
Holiday pay or double time.
yeah, I don't know if we get double time or holiday pay, but I'm gonna try and take the Friday before because I got a good friend of mine coming down to hang out for like the weekend. So I might just tell him, hey, if you can come leave extra early Friday morning, I'll have the day off. So I'll be home at any time you get here. But anyways, back to it.
Man, I mean, like, I work 10 hours the next 2 days, but like, man, that just sounds not fun.
I'm still working 16s regularly, so
It's been
I know your pain, Moose. I know.
on
your
average
pain.
it's been 13 days.
Yeah.
So I mean 13-hour days, not 13 days. It's been 13-hour days. Today was the longest this week, but it's just rough because the holidays coming up. And my supervisor is like, I'm trying to push to leave at 5 tomorrow, and he's like, can you guys come in early tomorrow, like 7:00? And I'm gonna try and get in there at like 6:30, and I'm gonna tell him, like, he'll probably be there, and I'll be like, I'm here at 6:30. I don't give a fuck what needs to be done at the end of today. I am leaving at 5 with you.
There you go, man. There you go.
Be like, fuck all these motherfuckers that want to roll in here at 8:30, and drag ass. Like, no. Like, you get in here and you get your shit done, you get the fuck out. And if you can't do that, then you have to stay behind and handle the workload, and the people that came in early can leave.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
I'm with you in this crusade. So
That was a mini crusade, mini vent, but
did you guys start style or no?
no, we were waiting
No,
for you.
okay.
Corey and I just, we shot the shit for a little bit.
I'm going to be
Waiting.
100% honest. I completely ripped this category off of Giant Bomb. This is best style.
I have a feeling our game might be the same.
Okay. All right. Well,
So,
I see your feeling and raise you discussion.
okay. So who's going first? Corey, go
You are.
first. Oh, I'm going first?
Yeah, you're going first.
Best style goes to Earth Atlantis.
Okay. You're wrong, but but I that is an honorable mention for sure.
Okay.
For sure. Corey, did you want to actually stop? Did you want to talk about it at all, or save it for another time? Because we kind of did do a show talking.
We did like a show talking about Earth Atlantis. So if you want to know my feelings about Earth Atlantis, check out the Fireside Chat, which would be the last episode that Matt and I recorded.
Yeah.
While Corey was off doing things with the wife or something. I don't know.
Titled "It's December, It's Cold." I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I was actually working.
Oh, that's right. He was working. So,
I was actually working.
so anyways, freaking Earth Atlantis is awesome. If I had to do runners up, I would pick definitely like Horizon would be number 2, and then Neo would be number 3. Like style, like the best style to a game. Like they both just they're like slick and awesome. And like when you play Horizon, you're like, yeah, I want to be in this world and take down robot animals and stuff like that. And when you're playing Neo, you're like, I'm to a certain extent, you're like, I'm a badass ninja, or a samurai. So, anyways, those are my choices. Corey, what'd you get? What did you get?
Go ahead, Griswold.
My best style. Honorable mentions, Zelda, I think has a really cool style to it.
Yeah.
SteamWorld Dig 2 has a pretty amazing style to it.
I'm with you there.
I think like I wasn't really digging the first game all that much, but like everything they did to the sequel was like, man, the backgrounds look amazing, the character models look amazing, like the character designs look cool, like that is just a cool looking game.
Mm-hmm.
Horizon, I think gets it for me, but also Shovel Knight: Spectre of Torment, which we haven't really talked a lot about that game.
But that wasn't in your DLC.
I don't even know if that's
no, it's DLC.
It is DLC.
It is
No,
DLC.
It is.
You know what?
It is DLC. It's DLC for Shovel Knight.
That is categorical dictionary definition DLC for Shovel Knight.
Yeah. In all honesty, I'm glad I bought Shovel Knight before they jacked up the price. Because now it's what, like
It has a cool style.
$20 each?
Oh yeah, no, I'd be with you on that. Yeah, but like, I agree with you. It has cool style because Shovel Knight it's stylish for being what it is.
As they like to say.
But like, yeah, you should have had that for DLC.
Yeah, dude, that's probably like, yeah. I'm gonna put that in my best DLC category.
There you go, Corey. There you go,
dude. That's like, oh my gosh, like that. Look, whatever they do next with Shovel Knight. Whatever they do next with Shovel Knight, whether it's Super Shovel Knight, Shovel Knight 64, I want all the movement from Spectre of Torment because look, using your weapon as like a grappling hook and surfing along railings and shooting cool magic out of it, like I want all that. I don't care if Shovel Knight has to surf on a shovel, if he has to get, one of those big like snow shovels to start surfing on. I don't care. I don't care what to do. Just want it.
I feel like they could make a Silver Surfer game cool.
Yeah.
I feel like they could.
Probably could.
I mean, Shovel Knight's so good. Shovel Knight is it's so good.
Well, they're working on the sequel, so
yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited about that.
Best style for me, it out far and away Persona 5.
You know what? I knew that was going to be your choice.
I forgot about Persona.
Like Persona 5, like, and I feel like the 3 Persona games I've played 3, I've played 4, I've played 5, I've played Golden, but I don't think that's enough to call it a separate Persona game. But each of them are so different, despite being the same thing.
Yeah.
Their stories are different. The way that they go at those stories are different, and I feel like Persona 5 is another grand step in that series' evolution, and everything that the Persona team, I think that's actually what it's called, everything that team does, like it is the definition of a team aiming at a thing and going full bore towards that thing. It's not like they didn't just say, hey, well, the last game had this that everybody liked, so we're going to keep that. No, they said, we're doing this. That's it. And Persona 5 is a stylish game. And one of my personal triumphs of 2017 was selling John Martin on that game, hearing him complain about it about a week later. Like, I hate this, I hate that. Why did Matt think I would like slice of life storytelling? And then a week after that, he's like, oh wait, no, I'm on board now. This is actually amazing. And I'm just like, you're welcome. Runners up, Nier Automata.
Yeah, that's a good style.
Nier Automata is like I've played a couple of endings in that because there are a couple real easy ones, but like Moose and Neo, I've kind of got a sense of it. I know what I think of it. Man, that is there is the definition of science fiction. Like, that's what science fiction is. It isn't just being in space. It isn't just being a robot. It's dealing with thinking about things. Mm-hmm. And
I need to finish that game.
And I am so glad there are minds like Yoko Taro's. Mm-hmm. And that game is fucking cool. Also, I have to mention Neo. I have to mention Earth Atlantis. Even as silly as it sounds, like, I think Never Stop Sneaking makes the N64 PS1 era look cool.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like,
it does look like a good game.
Like, it's not one of those things that's going to be like, oh, it's not like Shovel Knight good. It's not like Shovel Knight really sort of expounding on 16-bit graphics, or even Axiom Verge doing the Metroid thing. But it is something to behold, and I hope more people play it. That brings us to our next category.
Best score.
Thank you, Moose.
Yeah.
I was hoping one of you would finish that sentence. Yes, best score, best music in a game.
I thought maybe you just had like
Not so basically what this means is best music made for said game. It's not Grand Theft Auto's Fly Low Radio, where it's just a whole bunch of stuff that Flying Lotus chose. It is
Damn, Gina. I'll go first on this one.
okay.
Fuck y'all.
I agree with you, Moose.
Number 3 would be Neo. Neo's music
Damn
is
good score. Damn good
It's
score.
good. Neo's music is enjoyable. Number 2 would be Horizon, but number 1, because the fucking Switch stole my heart, would be Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So, I think I said it on this podcast. You know, I'm looking for time where I can like sink hours into that game. Like, I can't wait until we level off and I have 8-hour days and I can just fucking start like sinking hours into that game. And I'm kind of waiting. And I've said it in the same with Wolfenstein too. Like I said it with that, like, I'm not really enjoying that game, but I think it's also because I'm run down because like it's like, you know, 12 to 14-hour days for the last 2-3 months, and I'm just like, this is
You're
not
at your wit's end, man.
Yeah, I'm at my wit's ends, and I'm just like, so I play Bloodborne. I've been playing a lot of Warframe lately, but anyways.
Well,
So
can I offer up a suggestion?
What's that?
Just because I was working a shit ton when I beat Breath of the Wild, what I did was I'd sit down, I'd boot up the game, I'd sit down, I'm like, oh, before I even really started going after anything, I said, okay, how tired am I? How quickly do I think I'll fall asleep?
Yeah.
And then based on whatever I thought that answer was, that would be whether or not I went after food items or went after looking for more weapons, or
Right.
went after a dungeon.
I'm at a point right now where I have to invest a little bit more to try and find out where I need to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just kind of like, I want to have an afternoon where I can sit down and do that. And then
Have you killed Santa Claus yet?
no.
Okay.
And then
So
what I
yeah,
want
you
to
need an afternoon.
And then what I want to do is like, I also want to do that and then have like another afternoon on top of that I can do, you know? And so it's like the holiday season.
Mhm.
So like this weekend's going to be rushed because like Saturday is going to be wrapping presents like crazy.
Yeah.
Sunday, I'm going to be at my parents' house for the vast majority of the time. And then Monday we're heading up to the mountains to go hang out with my father-in-law and sister-in-law and the family. And then we might get back around 3-4 o'clock on Monday. So I might have a couple hours to hang out. So it's waiting for the goddamn job to die down.
Here's
That's
what you
it
do.
is.
Here's what you do. The next time you're like, it's not a work day, like a weekend day, and you're home with, the light on your side, and you're able to sort some gaming time. I'm take a 5-hour energy drink. Like, don't get a whole bunch of Red Bull or Monster or whatever. Just take a 5-hour energy drink and just go. See what happens.
Yeah. Well,
Because
to be honest,
it won't get you like, but it'll at least keep you alert.
to be honest, if I have any time on my Switch, I'm playing Earth Atlantis.
Yeah, that's another problem entirely.
So that's a whole other addiction entirely. Anyways, let's move along. What are y'all's selections?
Corey.
Corey, what do you got? Best
Horizon has a really, really good score.
score. Okay.
I think that game has a lot of music that makes the more intense moments really intense and some of the more somber moments really kind of just makes you feel things that, that game's good at making you feel. And Zelda, like for me, these are honorable mentions for me, but like, well, Horizon 1, but Zelda's an honorable mention for me just because like it's weird because that game doesn't really like have the powerful music that you know from older Zelda games. It's more of a kind of like faint in the background, like you hear it, but it's not like
ambient. It's so good.
Yeah.
And like, see, like an ambient like soundtrack could be good.
Yeah, and then like you hear some villagers playing some music, and you hear that, or like the big moment that is really cool is like when you're approaching a divine beast, and that music's building while you're trying to enter the divine beast. Like, for example, the elephant for the water temple, I guess, would be what it's equivalent to. Like that battle as you're getting into the divine beast, that build up and the battle music is so intense and so cool. It's just like as you're trying and fighting this stuff, trying to get into the divine beast, it's just like, man, every time you take out like one of those ice blocks or one of the spike things, it's just like, man, this music makes it way better. And then like
spoilers.
Well, I'm sorry.
It's game of the year, dude.
Anyways, it is game of the year.
You just started playing your Switch yesterday. Calm down, Moose.
No, not yesterday.
You know what? The main reason why I think the main reason I'm not going to say, because Moose's butt hurt that I ruined a battle before the divine beast. Yeah, so you know what? I'm not even going to mention it.
It's whatever.
As you're approaching the blank for the blank battle, music builds in such a way that it just, oh my gosh, as you get closer to blank, it just builds and builds and builds and keeps adding and adding and adding and adding and adding to the music to the point where you get to where you need to be. It's like just so powerful that you just sort of like, oh my gosh, this is it. We're going in.
Yeah,
that's what she said.
Could be.
Okay. May I go now, Corey, or did you have anything else?
Yeah, no, that's kind of it.
So
as the known music guy on this podcast, I have a lot to say about a lot of different music.
Are you kidding? What?
So it's best to save that for later.
Sarcasm. That's like completely opposite of what he said. Anyways.
Corey is the music aficionado on this show.
Yeah. Matt, what was your favorite score?
I am also the beer connoisseur.
Yep.
The movie guy.
Yep.
And the TV show guy.
I mean, TV show. No, I think I may beat you there.
Yeah. You know what I don't know? Hats.
Well, you're wearing one.
That's true. That's true. You do not know hats, Griswold. Not at all. Not at all.
Leave them alone. What are your scores?
Where's the Tylenol?
I think that's a good one. I think the mark of a good score is something that can both conjure up moments in a game as well as not really intrude while you're playing. And for that, like, I think Breath of the Wild is a good score. However, the one thing that holds it back, I don't remember most of it. There were when Nier came out and people were talking about how cool of a game that actually is, and I haven't experienced all of it.
You didn't get platinum it?
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Ditto.
Hell yeah.
This year, I mean, I say that as 2018. I'm doing it in 2018. Yeah. But anyways, continue.
But when people said that the music was more interesting than music they remembered in games, I immediately went searching for it. And they were right. like Nier Automata is a good score. It's whether or not you want to argue the music theory approach or the listenability approach, Nier Automata should be on your list if you want to listen to video game music. My number one, without hesitation, is Shoji Meguro's score to Persona 5. That motherfucker can write classical pieces, he can write lounge music pieces, he can write pop music, he can write electro, he can write hip hop. This guy is the most versatile composer in video game music, if not music as a whole. And that soundtrack, when I heard Persona 5 came out, there were two things that I was excited about. And the first one is the fact that Shoji Meguro was doing the score. The second thing was that, hey, a Persona 5 is coming. And that score is huge. It is a vast listen. It's like, I think 2.5, 3 hours. But it is varied and interesting and fun. Sometimes all at the same time, sometimes separately. Persona 5. Second on my list is Nier Automata. That score is beautiful and interesting. Third on my list is Cuphead.
You played it?
No, I've just listened to the music.
Okay.
Because I like old big band jazz, and I kind of thought that's where they were going.
Kind of got a hard on for it.
They surprised me with where they go on that score, and it's really, really good. And I cannot wait to actually have the money to order the IM 8-bit edition of it. And
which is nice.
Yeah, fourth on my list is the score for the Supergiant game Pyre. Pyre has some good ass music.
See, here's my problem. Like, I saw the best score category, and I was just like, fuck, I spent too much time in PlayStation Network parties to listen to scores. I mean, I'm dead serious.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
For those who don't know, I really got to know my fellow co-hosts for the Nerds Gone Platinum podcast, Jason and Jeff, while all three of us were playing Horizon at the same time.
Well, that's how you and I got to know each other.
Well, that was
Helldivers.
Helldivers doesn't have a score. Helldivers is like fucking yelling out, like,
for freedom.
Yeah, for freedom and have a nice
cup of liberty.
So I personally, as I play games, I tend to sacrifice the sound. Like, I have my headphones on. If I join a party, the volume for the game goes like way down, and the volume, it's more focused on the volume for the party, so I could, chat with people and hang out and socialize. And so I don't really focus on the scores. But, really the reason Zelda won was because I've been playing it recently and enjoying it thoroughly. So that's it. So, like, next year, I will be prepped for the category of best score, and I will be like, this, because I will actually pay attention.
Griswold, I just want to say, I want the record to show that the reason best score is on this is because it was Moose's idea.
Yeah, that's funny. Isn't that funny? Yeah, that's funny, isn't it?
As Captain Canada would say, that's the best.
I also want to point out that you can bookmark this episode, but next year, when we're discussing what to do for Game of the Year, it's going to be just like it was this year, where we message each other 3 days before we record the show. Hey, what category should we do this year? I don't know.
And best score will end up on there, and I'll just,
best character sounds good.
And then Matt will throw in one the day of recording.
Yeah.
Why the hell not?
Yeah. Anyways.
Okay, so now we are getting to the big four of the night. First on that list is best character. I'm going to start this one.
Okay.
I think I'm going Slave Knight Gale from Dark Souls 3, The Ring City. For two reasons. One, I think the lore behind him is amazing, and two, he's the only thing Dark Souls has given me, or he's the only thing the Soulsborne series has given me that is full of redemption in the way that Solaire was from Dark Souls 1. Slave Knight Gale is a special character, and I won't go into too many spoilers, but I think his arc is really, really cool. The lore behind him is interesting. Like he's what's called a slave knight, and they never really die. So, and the Ring City takes place at the end of the world. So he has lived for eons, and now he's at the end of the world, all because he wanted to.
So what you're telling me is the world of Dark Souls is a flat Earth?
Moose, you want to start a new podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's call it Dark Souls.
Yeah. Please.
Souls enthusiasts.
No, there are already too many of those that I've listened to, and they're better than anything I could do because I suck. But Slave Knight Gale, he is sacrificing everything for the one thing, for the one person he actually believed in. Yeah. And I think that is a beautiful thing. Second is 9S from Nier Automata. I'll go more into that in our best moment category. And third is Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay.
Moose or Corey, fight for who's next. I don't care.
I'm going next. Third.
Griswold, you can't argue. It's over.
Can't argue, buddy. It's done. My third best character is William from Neo. Like, so here's my thing. Like, you look at Neo, and I didn't do it, okay? But a lot of people are like, they're whitewashing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, it's kind of like
yes,
another fucking, but
it's another fucking white dude,
right? If
in
you
a culture he might not belong in,
right? If you actually look up the history of the game, it's actually historically accurate to Japan. Like there was a English sailor, whatever, who has done this, who became a samurai, all that stuff. Kind of almost like what what's his name?
It was
Tom
made
Cruise did in Last
No,
Samurai.
that's what they're talking about. Except that Tom Cruise movie fucking sucked, and it got so much shit wrong.
But anyways, so his character is driven. His character wants to help, and be the right person. And unlike, I feel so. Neo is compared to a lot of Souls games, which rightfully so, but I feel unlike Souls games,
sells it short,
or even Bloodborne, the main character actually has a story. He has a personality. I mean, because like in my personal opinion, with Dark Souls and Bloodborne, you're supposed to be the character. Exactly. So like it's kind of there's an anonymity is the word, I guess, to the character for both Bloodborne and Dark Souls games, to the point where they don't do a lot of background on the character because it's really about the world and you are supposed to be playing that character. And so I feel like Neo did a really good job of telling the story, of William and that historical character or person in a game, and just kind of like taking a fictional spin on it, or a fictitious spin on it, or whatever. So that was number 3. Number 2 is Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn. I really enjoyed her background. The struggle is real. Fucking kids in high school, assholes, junior high, all that shit. And someone suffering for a reason that they don't know or won't understand until way later in their life. Spoilers, if you haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn, fucking stop listening. But anyways, I liked her character. She made a lot of good choices. They allowed a lot of good options for responses to NPCs when you were talking to them.
They didn't do the Mass Effect thing.
No, which was nice.
I'm so glad they didn't do that.
Which was nice. I agree. I agree.
Right.
I am looking, like I said, stop listening. Spoilers. I'm looking forward to the sequel. You know they've started producing that. All three of us know that. I can't wait to play the sequel and play more and experience the world, which is Earth remade thousands of years in the future through Aloy's eyes. So love her as a character. Can't wait. And then my number one, because I got to go with my boy, is Link. And that's all I got to say. So anyways, that's that. Corey, what are your choices?
I'm going to let Corey go, but I still have to say you picked the least character thing as your character.
Not really.
I know.
Not really. Think about it. He is a character. He's a man of resolve. He's a man of determination and courage who's going to do whatever he needs to do to accomplish his goal. So you could sit there and talk about a lot of characters.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just trying to mess with you, Moose. You pick your picks. Like, I respect that. That's first and foremost. I'm with you.
I will punch you in the face.
I wouldn't troll you if you weren't.
And I'm going to have Kelly record it on her Pixel 2 and
great.
And the first person she sends the video to is going to be you, Corey. So, anyways,
just in case Matt retaliates and wins.
Corey, what are your choices?
Okay, so for me, number 3 is Senua from Hellblade.
She's my 4th.
Oh my gosh, dude, that game, like, I picked it up last week because I'm trying to make my way through it again, or not again, but like finish it, because I want that to be my second platinum trophy. The way that character just deals with her inner struggles and makes her way through this world, and like, not to mention, the mocap and the sounds and the design and everything, like, that character is just something that we don't see very often in video games. And like, Hellblade is one of those games that is so character driven that if they didn't get that character right, like, that game would not be as special as it is. So
game should have been my style category.
Yeah,
I never played it, so I couldn't put it in there.
It's so good.
It's a great game. My second character is Zelda. And like, I know I'm in the way minority of this, but like, they show Zelda in a different light than they always do.
Yeah.
And like, if
she's not as damseled as you think she is.
Yeah, it's like, Link is her protector and like whatever, but he's also one of the 5 champions that are sworn to protect the princess. But if you go through and find all of the memories throughout Hyrule, and Moose, I do recommend you do that. I will. You kind of see her go from princess to
warrior,
a powerful character, and then actually, do some things that make her like, wow, I would love to see a Zelda game revolve around Zelda one time, and like, we say that a lot when a new Zelda game comes out, like, is the next Zelda game? Can we please play a Zelda or whatever? Like, this more than ever, I would love to see a Breath of the Wild like sequel, or maybe a game that takes place in that 100 years while Link is asleep. Like, I would love to see a game focused on Zelda and watch her power grow, and maybe end where Breath of the Wild picks up.
It would be cool to see a Legend of Zelda game and you play as Zelda.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool. It'd be a nice mix-up. I think it would be a nice mix-up, where he's doing it. What happens while he's asleep? You know what I mean? And let's focus on her. Like that would be an amazing story to tell. You know?
And like there's a couple moments like that, like a couple memories that you find where it's like, wow, I don't think Zelda really needs any of these people. And like there's some moments where you're like, oh, well, that happened. And yeah, it's just, I don't want to spoil it for you because some of those memories are really cool to see off the, like just watching them in order once you find them all and just putting the story together is really cool. So
that's the one thing I found everything of. I found all the memories. The memories are really good.
Yeah. But my number one character is Aloy. Like I think she is the best character written this year. I think she's in arguably the best game to come out this year, and she is the character that made me believe in PlayStation first party games again.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like don't get me wrong, I think PlayStation first party games are great, but this is the one that says PlayStation is not messing around, and Guerrilla has something really special with Horizon, and I want to see a sequel to that game. I want, like, what they're doing with Uncharted, releasing like a side story every year or 2 years or whatever. I want them to do that with Horizon, like a side story every year. So like she's just a special character, and that game is special.
Yeah.
One more honorable mention though. Bayek and Aya from Assassin's Creed Origins. Their story is something really cool to connect with, and their relationship is what's making me want to complete that game. So
everything you've said about that game thus far, Corey, and it's been a few weeks now, like I'm convinced I may pick up this Assassin's Creed on a sale.
Yeah.
Mainly because I fucking hate Assassin's Creed. But the way you were talking about that, like the one thing I share with Colin Moriarty. Yes, him. Is that one of my favorite periods in history is the American Revolution. And Assassin's Creed 3 did not hook me. I didn't buy it, didn't play it. I felt no need to go to it. But you talking about this game the way that you have been has piqued my interest in a way that I did not expect. So I'm not going to say like, I hope you're right, because if you're wrong, I'm going to let you know. But like, thank you for shedding different light on this series.
Yeah. I mean, like, I try to do that when I talk about games, like I don't want to just say like, oh, this game's good, you should buy it because it's awesome and cool and great and whatever. Like, I know what kind of things appeal to my friends when they're trying to play a game. And you in particular, doing what, almost 75 episodes plus of this show, like plus other shows. It's like,
yeah,
I know what kind of game appeals to you, and Assassin's Creed isn't like, there's so many quests, there's so many side quests, there's so many dumb things you can do in that game, but the small character moments are like what drives you to continue games. Like that's, I'm assuming that's what drove you to continue to play Horizon, even though like taking out giant robots is super cool. But
that shows that was what convinced me to just keep progressing the story, because I could have stayed in that first world just fucking up little guys. That would have been so much fun, and it would have still been on my 10 games.
That's why I hit max level like before I even went to the first, like the third or fourth main quest.
Yeah.
Spoilers, you're supposed to go to Meridian, isn't it? Meridian?
Yeah.
You're supposed to go to Meridian. I was almost max level before I even went there.
Yeah.
Like, because I was just running around like destroying robot. I was like, this is so much fun.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
So we are to best moment. I'm gonna do this one because I feel like you guys have actual gameplay moments.
No, I don't. I mean, I do, but
Like,
My-
but like my two best are actual like game story moments. And frankly, my winner is most of Wolfenstein 2. Because there are so many good moments in that game. Like, I feel like video game writing made a step forward. My second is 9S's upload of 2B at the beginning of Nier Automata. Because a lot of, like, one of the cool things in science fiction is, like, you know, Asimov's laws of robots, where, like, this is what it means to be a robot. This is what you have to abide by as a robot. And then this 9S, an android, sacrifices a chance to save his own consciousness for the main character to be. I feel like that's a beautiful thing. And I feel like games don't go there and explore it a lot. Other than that, like, I thought Horizon's Proving was really good. But then, like, that was when I started to get to actual, like, gameplay moments, like when I was running through a level in Never Stop Sneaking and I killed 7 things at once with just my joystick, because that's all you need in that game. Or the another story moment, the battle rap and golf story is really good. But yeah, Wolfenstein, most of Wolfenstein is my moment of the year. I guess if I had to pick one, it's the one where you are captured and a character named Super Sesh comes to rescue you. I feel like a better explanation of that is from Patrick Klepek of Waypoint. Look at his story, and there are reasons why that's the best moment of that game. Either one of you can go next. I don't care who does.
Corey, go ahead.
Okay, so honorable mentions for me, Horizon, that final battle, like, it's the first time I've seen a single player game really wrap a story as kind of large and full scale as that, kind of wrap it up in a nice little bow and kind of delivered it nicely. You know, I don't think a lot of games end well. And that
Very true.
game surprisingly ended very well. And, like, I don't even think, like, honestly, Zelda doesn't really end very well, to be honest with you, unless you 100% the game and then you get a different ending.
And a golden turd.
Yeah, and a golden turd trophy. But so Mario Kart 8 this year, my wife, that's like one of the only games my wife plays with me. And we were racing and she was finally in first place for the first time maybe ever. And I was right behind her, kind of trolling her, and I had the 3 red shells.
Oh, dick.
I slowed down on purpose just so I could use them on her.
Dick move.
Oh, you're a dick.
What a dick move.
I shot 2 at her, so she stumbled, and then I shot the 3rd one at her, and it knocked her off the course. And she started, like, cussing me out, and, like,
Right, as she should have.
Yes.
it was
Hashtag I stand with Sana.
Yes. How does she still play that game with you?
How is she not killed you in
fucking
your
dick.
sleep?
Yes. Yes. How do you wake up in the morning? I don't understand, because that's cruel.
It was pretty good though. It was pretty.
No,
I'm sure
you're an asshole.
Well, yes, he is. Yeah.
It was a great moment. I ended with a perfect score in the Grand Prix and the gold trophy, and she came in like 8th.
Oh, you're an asshole, Corey.
Way to be a dick.
I
All
love
right.
you, but you're a dick.
But my number one moment I cannot say because Moose has not played through Breath of the Wild yet.
Go ahead and say
What is
it.
it?
Say it. He knew what he was
Take-
signing up for.
Take your headphones off, Moose. Just take them off. It's the moment where Zelda is kind of taking Link back to the Shrine of Resurrection,
Oh,
And-
so good.
and she's like saving him. Like, she pretty much saves his life, and then she travels to the Lost Woods, and she puts the sword back in the thing, and like that's just like a really powerful moment for that character, this character that we've known for 30 plus years to be a damsel in distress, and it's just like for her to save the hero is like just one of the best moments in that entire game. And that's the reason I want to see a Zelda based Legend of Zelda game.
I mean,
like
there's that moment, and there's plenty of others that sort of go along with it. Just actually lending flesh to the skeleton character that Zelda always kind of has been.
Yeah. And like that was like the final moment. You see, like in all these memories that you find, her struggling between power and her trying to find her inner power while still trying to be the princess, while not trying to be saved all the time by Link. And like there's moments where she tells Link not to follow her, and like you see this inner struggle through the whole game, and then you finally like see her kind of know what she's supposed to do, and like she saves Link, puts the Master Swords back, and then you see that whole part like kind of resolve once you beat the game. And like I think that moment is so good for that character specifically, that like that's my moment of the year, I think. So
good call. I'm gonna bring Moose back in, okay?
Okay,
he's putting his headphones back on.
And then when Zelda rides that motorcycle,
what the hell, right?
Ramps off the drawbridge.
Well, see, what I thought it was weird that they made her laugh like Dr. Giggles from that horror movie.
Yeah.
I mean, artistic touch nonetheless.
Yeah. and her arms cut off, and there's just a chainsaw there instead.
And then
I got 2 middle fingers, one for each of y'all.
What was Sweet Tooth doing in a Breath of the Wild? I don't get it.
Anyways, best moment. So honorable mentions. Neo, just playing Neo, and the first boss.
Oh God, here's
the thing.
Not the tutorial boss. Not the tutorial boss.
No. I'm talking about the boss on the boat.
Oh, fuck that guy. Oh, man.
Reason it is my best moment. One of my best moments of 2017 is because I beat that boss before Dr. Souls, Matthew Keel beat that boss.
Yeah. That's true.
I whooped that boss's ass.
Oh, man.
He struggled. He was like, what is going on? What am I doing wrong? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. So,
like, the funny thing is, on that note, my buddy Ahmed, the true Dr. Souls, when we were playing Dark Souls 2, like after both of us had platinumed it and like been through it like at least 10 or 12 times back on PS3, he said, so what was your hardest boss in Dark Souls 2? And I'm like, you know what? You're going to laugh at me for this, but the Last Giant. Now, you both will not know what that means, but the Last Giant categorically among Souls fans is considered one of the easiest bosses like ever in the series. It's not like an interesting fight. It's not really, it doesn't really require much thought. It's relatively easy, but for some reason on PS3, Dark Souls 2, that boss beat me more than any other boss did. And I beat the Pursuer the first time you see him. That's another thing Souls fans will get. Also, I beat the boss in Iron Keep. I don't remember his name, but he was considered a super difficult one. I beat him my first try by myself. I didn't even summon an NPC. I beat him, like I waxed him. And I literally showed Ahmed how to beat him. I'm like, this is how you do it. Watch. And he came in, like he summoned me into his world, and I beat the guy for him. He's like, how did you do that? I'm like, here's my weapon, here's my loadout, this is how I did it. And he's like, I feel like if I try that 10 times, I'll never do it. And I'm like,
Right. Well, I mean, that's
one of those,
that's
like, honestly, and Moose, you are 100% correct. Like,
right. It's like every Souls boss.
yeah,
Somebody struggles with a certain boss, and somebody else is like, "This is a fucking cakewalk." So here's the thing: like Amygdala in the Chalice dungeons, if I have
you
to
beat yourself up for months.
right because you
It seemed
can't
like-
beat him, but then you understand the mechanics behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I whooped his ass on my New Game Plus without even getting hit. And
Yeah.
not in the Chalice dungeon. I'm just talking Amygdala. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure he's just as tough. He's way tougher than the Chalice dungeons, but he's kind of a similar mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just like, now that I know what I need to do, you just have to move correctly. So Bloodborne and Dark Souls bosses are different for everybody.
Yeah.
Certain, this one's tough for somebody and it's easy for somebody else. And some, and then those two people flip on another boss. You know what I mean? So, anyways, that was one of my, favorite moments was when Matt was like, what the hell's going on with this game? And I was just like,
Go.
I'm on to the next section, buddy. I don't know what you're having problems with.
Like, what was it? What's your issue?
Yeah, I'm like, what's your issue?
You're like that tech support guy in Red versus Blue. Like, hey, buddy, I don't know what to help you, man. Dude, buddy, dude, how, dude, buddy.
Have you tried turning it off and back on again?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think we did it this year, but so that can't be another favorite moment. I'm trying to get like honorable mentions to like favorite moments because I have that one for Neo, just playing Neo. I guess just Nier, stepping outside the boundaries and just enjoying Nier was a lot of
cool, man.
Yeah, is a lot of fun for me. I look forward to going back and platinuming that game this year and not paying for the platinums with in-game money.
Fucking right.
But my number one is Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's taking down your first Thunderjaw. So for those who aren't familiar, like the Thunderjaw is kind of like the T-Rex of the game. And like when you just like you've been training, you've been leveling up, you've been doing some quests, and you finally get to them, and you've got all these, you got all these tricks up your sleeve, and you have to like take him down, and you have to survive the fight. And so it was just a lot of fun. It's definitely a tough quote unquote mini boss. So it's a lot of fun. They just made fighting robot animals so much fun in that game. And I do need to go back and finish Frozen Wilds. I definitely, in the near future, want to complete all the trophies for that DLC and then also complete all the trophies for the 100%. Yeah, the 100%. I want 100% of Horizon Zero Dawn. So I want to work towards that and get that. For those who don't know, we got a show coming up in January where we're going to talk about our goals for the next year. And that's going to be on there. And whether or not Jeff and Jason pick that for me to do, we'll see. But anyways, those are my favorite moments of the year.
That brings us to our penultimate category, best story.
Nice.
Corey, you're going second.
Yeah. Oh,
Moose is going first.
I
Fuck.
hate
God damn.
I love messing with you too. It's great.
Shit.
What are we doing for 20 questions? No, I'm kidding.
I don't think we're doing 20 questions.
No, we're not doing 20 questions.
I'm
Are you
legit
crazy?
passing out in the next 20 minutes because I have to be up in like 3.5 hours.
Right.
I would have to say I don't even have any honorable mentions. I guess Nier is a great story.
Mm-hmm.
Neo, I will be honest. Personally, myself, like there's a story in Neo and you can follow it if you fucking pay attention instead of just running through and killing shit like you want to be a ninja. So that's also why I kind of want to replay the game, is to gather the story. So Nier Automata, if you haven't played it, I highly recommend it just because the gameplay and the style of the game and also the story is really cool. Like Matt mentioned, just, you know, an android sacrificing for another android, you know, just it's a cool, like, you know, way to look at, you know, life and stuff like that. And then my number one, my choice for best story is Horizon Zero Dawn. And the reason I say that, and it's not because you know, co-host on the Sony podcast, but just I loved playing that game. Not only I love playing that game, but then I liked following the story. So I can compare it to Wolfenstein 2. With Wolfenstein 2, I don't care about the story. I'm bored by the story. I'm bored by the characters. I don't give a fuck about BJ. I don't give a fuck about his wife. I don't give a fuck about his kids. I don't care about any of the NPCs. But with Horizon, I was intrigued and I was invested in like everybody. I was invested in Aloy, like her story, the way they told the story. It made me want to keep moving forward in the game to see what was happening. And then when you get to the end of the story, you're like, that's pretty fucking cool. Like, they did a great job of telling a sci-fi story, in my personal opinion. And they did a great job of developing a great character in Aloy. So that's my choice for you know, best story. Anyways, Corey, you're going second. What you got?
Yeah, and it wasn't. I mean, Horizon's my pick too, but it wasn't just like the overarching story and how well they developed that world and like the story that they were telling, but it's all the little stories along the way, like helping the different tribes and helping the different people in the side quests, and you know, learning about these different characters and really fleshing out you know, the shoot, what was the thing called at the beginning? The
Proving.
Yeah, the proving, and like
Proving grounds.
Yeah, and like even the characters that you don't really interact with like a whole lot, they really fleshed out those characters. And then like the big twist partway through the, like, most, like, what, 2/3 of the way through the game, and really fleshing out, you know, the Zero Dawn project and like everything else is like, they really nailed so much of that game that a lot of games don't do well. And like, again, I cannot wait to see how, like, what they do to improve in Horizon 2, because they almost made a perfect game with Horizon.
Yeah.
You know, and it's I mean, I'm just shocked at the quality of that game. And like, that's why it wins story of the year for me. My honorable mentions are Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I think that story is really cool. You know, it's a really good character driven story, and if they didn't get that character right, again, that story would not work. And then Assassin's Creed Origins, again, like, I don't really care about the overarching story in that game, but the story that they're telling with Bayek and Aya are, again, it's like one of the most interesting relationship stories I've ever seen in a game, and it's really got a grasp on me. So those are
Nice.
my honorable mentions, but Horizon by far wins this category.
I think I think that is our first universal win. Horizon Zero Dawn, and like, this was a category that I grappled with a lot. I'm not like, I don't consider myself to be like super political, but I pay attention, and I feel like because of that, like, Wolfenstein hit me in a special way, because it seemed very immediate, very of these times, despite being of alternate history, World War II. But Horizon Zero Dawn seems to do things. Yeah, I'm going to make this comparison. It does what the Souls series does, but instead of leaving everything fractured and you have to put it together yourself, it puts everything together, and that tapestry is cool as hell. I went to PAX Unplugged, a board game convention, and that's the first convention of any kind I've ever been to. I didn't go to this talk, but my girlfriend Reba went to this talk, and she was like, yeah, they mentioned a game you like from this year, Horizon. I'm like, what were they talking about Horizon at a board game convention? But they were talking about, it was basically trying to get diversity into games, not board games, not video games,
just
games. And she said they mentioned like more than 5 talking points because of Horizon Zero Dawn. So clearly, like that they did several things right. And early on in the year, when I had finally beaten and platinumed this, I still think this to be true. I think that is a leap forward for video game stories. Do I think that it has hit the heights of like great literature of the history? No. But if there was one game whose story I would read as a book, I would read Horizon Zero Dawn. And for a lot of reasons, like one of the things I love about science fiction is it tends to ask the most questions of its origin. And more often than not in Horizon, you're trying to figure out where you come from. And while most people in the world hated the alien movie Prometheus, like I found that it asked more questions about where humanity comes from. And it couldn't provide the answers because Ridley Scott wasn't there at the beginning. But it like said, hey, this is the way to ask this question. I think it did that well. And Horizon Zero Dawn, because it's not asking about where humanity came from, it's just asking how this world came to be. And I love the way it's written. It is a gorgeous story. My honorable mentions are another. Right behind it is another great sci-fi story, a sprawling, winding narrative, Nier Automata. And then right behind that is video games' first truly decent foray into mental health, and that is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Like those 3 games by themselves point to 2017 as a banner year, alongside 97, 2007. I mean 87, just because that's when the original Legend of Zelda came out. This was a special year, and the fact that a story like Wolfenstein doesn't make the top 3 for me, I think that's kind of an indicator. But yeah, Horizon, best story for sure, hands down. That leads us to our final category, best indie. Corey, get yours out of the way first so Moose and I can just wax poetic about indies.
I know.
Nah, just kidding. You take your time.
Okay, so honorable mentions for me. I didn't play Cuphead, but Cuphead I think deserves to be mentioned in some sort of way in this, even though
agreed.
You guys don't own Xboxes, and I don't play mine enough to even try to know what I'm talking about in that category. But Cuphead is one of those games that, like, as soon as I find some extra cash lying around, like, that's a game that I would love to have and play. The art direction and the music and the the time and care they put into doing all those hand-drawn animations and like really taking their time, and the creativity of the characters and the bosses. Like that game is something special, and I want to support that studio and them like as I can. Rhyme is another one where it kind of is like a very, 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 very light Zelda-esque game mixed with Journey. But what makes that game special is its music, and the way like that game incorporates its music into the game design is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't really recommend playing it on Switch, but that's where I played it.
Neither here nor there.
Shovel Knight: Spectre of Torment. It gets an honorable mention because it is an expansion and it is DLC. But if I could, that would be my indie game of the year. It's by far the best of the Shovel Knight formula. The movement, the music, the abilities, like that story they told was really cool, and really makes you feel for that in particular character. But my favorite indie game of the year is Mr. Shifty.
Okay.
It is like, it's unconventional. It's not an amazing game, but like the time I had with that game and like playing it and trying to make it through every floor in a perfect run, and the combat, like that game was like one of the best experiences I had on Switch all year outside of Zelda. And it was just like, this game is really cool. And like, it's not the best game by far, but it was my favorite indie game that I played this year. So give it to Mr. Shifty.
Cool.
You can now salivate over all your indies while I go.
Moose, you go ahead.
Indies this year.
Moose is like, my favorite indie game is Nap Time.
No,
Hey,
because it
don't-
escapes me all the
Don't-
time.
Don't
so
discount nap time.
no.
Don't sleep. Wait, no, definitely sleep on nap time.
So this one's tough because I thoroughly enjoy the choice that I made in the list that I sent to Matt if I wasn't going to make it. But, you know, so honorable mentions. Sundered. Sundered is awesome. I highly recommend it. It's got, 2D platforming. It's got some Dark Souls to it. It's got some roguelike to it, which, and thinking about the game really makes me realize that Dark Souls and Bloodborne are roguelike games. Actually, they're just rogue games. Period. That's what they are. To an extent.
There's an element of that there, yes.
Anyways, without the permadeath.
Yeah.
Anyways, so if you take that away, that's exactly what they are. If you try and strip it down, and I know Matt would argue with me all day long just because it's stripping down a series he spent more hours in than I have getting my diploma for a 4-year college. But anyways, I love Sundered. I highly recommend it. The art style is awesome. It's by the Frost Lotus game developers. They did Juton, which is based on
Jotun.
Jotun.
Yeah.
I apologize. It's Jotun.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I'm horrible at pronunciation.
It's fine.
I was raised Roman Catholic and taught in a Catholic school, so my pronunciation is horrible.
You're white from America. We get things wrong.
So, highly recommend that game as well, just because it's developed by the same people. So, tag team it to them if you can. If not, so that's third. Second,
I think Jotun actually came out on PS4 earlier this year too, even though it was released initially last year.
It is. I think it did. It might have came out last year.
But like both of those games are like Songbringer specifically. Like I should have fucking played. I should have.
Well, you have access to it, and you have access to Jotun. So
they're both on my system.
I know you can't fucking play them.
I know. What the
Welcome to the struggle that is 2018.
At least you
Anyway.
have an external hard drive. I don't even have that.
I don't understand. It's like plug and play.
I know. Look. Do we really want to go into my life choices right now?
No.
Okay.
Your best choice is where you're living and who you're living with. So anyways,
This is true.
second is me and Corey as friends. So
Also true.
my number two would have to be Nex Machina. Cause
That's your number 2.
yes, indie game. Okay.
Okay.
Here's the reason why.
All right.
It is a phenomenal shooter. Like, it is an amazing arcade shooter. Okay. Twin stick. It's got I really think so. Like, if you think of Grand Theft Auto 5 combining like all the game mechanics of the games that they've ever made,
Mhm.
like, so you got like Smuggler's Run in there. If you want to
Yeah.
go run drugs with Trevor, you've got, I think they did tabletop tennis or
Yeah.
whatever. So you've got tennis, you can go play with your wife. They've got a golf game in there. They've got shooting. They've got the slowdown with Michael if you play Michael. So there's some Red Dead Redemption in there. They've got driving, which is they did Midnight Club. So you got like a little bit of all their series in one. I really think Nex Machina is
that for Housemarque?
is for Housemarque. You've got a little bit of Resogun in there. You got a little bit of Dead Nation.
Stardust,
Stardust is in there.
Outland.
And yes. So I feel like they've done a good job of taking all their games and kind of putting a little bit of everything into one. And then I wanted to put it on the list also because no discredit to Matterfall. I haven't played too much of Matterfall, but I feel after Matterfall came out earlier, like I would say fall, so maybe September, October, Housemarque announced that they were not making any more arcade shooters. They personally have declared arcade shooters dead.
Mhm.
And so they were moving on to something new. Whether I feel that is right or wrong, I say no. I think there's always a place for arcade shooters. Do I feel they need to move on because they're not making the money they can make off that type of game? Yes.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
Because they released Nex Machina on PC just because nobody was buying their games on PS4. So I understand that. So I understand developing video games is a business. If you're not making money, you got to move in the direction you got to. So I don't feel like arcade shooters are dead. I don't think that they're done with arcade shooters. I feel they're going to do maybe 3 or 4 games in whatever direction they go, and then they might come back later. Like you know what I'm saying? I don't think they're done with that idea. They may think they're done with it now, but I think they've been in it too much to just go cold turkey. So I think
genres are like peaks and valleys, and right now arcade shooters are in the valley, and
right. They had a peak, like PS3. Like people are like, oh my god, they're remaking like the style game I played when I was younger, but with newer graphics, and they're taking like mechanics. Like, I mean, you look at some indie games. Like, I'm totally pumped for Chasm, which is a Metroidvania style game. But the reason I'm pumped for it is because they'll be able to take game mechanics of modern gaming and put it into a game that is pixelated, a 2D side scroll. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just need to have that happen for them.
It was the same reason last year you and I latched on to Salt and Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Like, we had played a lot of Bloodborne together, and then when you like pointed Salt and Sanctuary out to me, and you're like, dude, look at this. Like, we're doing this already. And now it's an indie game of that. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the one thing Ska Studios messed up, no online multiplayer.
Yeah. Yeah. If they could have got,
you have to be split screen.
or
it doesn't work the best.
Yeah, the share. Yeah, the game share doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, no, I know.
Well, no, it's just playing co-op doesn't work the best. Like,
Yeah, it's
couch
rough.
co-op.
So I feel Housemarque will get back to arcade shooters, but
Yeah.
I'm excited for them moving forward. I look forward to seeing their next new game. I think they already stated that they're going to use the Unreal 4 engine for their next game or something like that. I could have swore I read that somewhere. I might be a little sleep deprived and a little drunk to think that that was them. I don't know. Anyways, so I know they're moving forward. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see what their next game is. I'll probably buy it day one because I love them.
Same.
My number one indie game is Earth Atlantis.
Yeah, it is.
Dude,
Yeah,
that
it
game
is.
is so much fun.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
So freaking good. You don't like. I feel this is the Bloodborne version of my indie games. Like I just keep coming back to it. I keep playing it. I keep dying at this fucking boss. And
Are
when
you
I
still at
finally
Takodon?
shut your fucking whore mouth. All
I'm
right.
just
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. No
Okay.
judgment.
Today, I will be honest. Today is the first time I picked it up to play Earth Atlantis in a week.
Mhm.
So it's been a while.
Well,
So
I'm still at 31 because I've been playing End is 9, Never Stop Sneaking. So you know.
Which those are both on the they're both at bat to purchase. I put e-cards on my Christmas list. So if I get some, those are both at bat to purchase. If not, maybe with the next overtime paycheck, which will be the next one because it's overtime's fucking insane these next 2 weeks because our schedule's accelerated. But anyways, I
Earth Atlantis
love
is really good.
Earth Atlantis. The art style's good. The game style's good. I've only played with one ship, and I love it. I can't wait to dive in and hopefully play through the story with each of the other ships, and start a new game and play with this ship and see how the game mechanics change. And
I can't wait to get to Hunter mode. I want to know what that is.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. There's
Me either.
Matt says there's a hunter mode. What is that?
Yeah.
So it's on Switch. It's got three ways of controlling it. It's got your joystick. That's one way you control it. It has a button that switches the direction your ship goes, and then it has a shooter. It has a shooting button. That's all it has.
Mhm.
So the way they have made the game simple but hard to master is awesome. I thoroughly enjoy it and love it. So I highly recommend picking up Earth Atlantis. Any Switch owners out there, buy it. Holiday season coming up. Even if it's not on sale, if you get some e-card money, or someone gives you a gift card, or you get money and
They're
you go buy
giving you at least $20. You can use it on Earth Atlantis. You will have
God,
a game you can come back
Earth
to.
Atlantis is awesome. Corey, why are you not playing this game? But anyways,
Honestly, I've never even heard of it until
3 weeks ago
You-
when Moose and
you
I started
started
talking
talking
about it.
about
Yeah, no, it's really goddamn good.
it's so good. I also wanted to know, did y'all see the Zelda clone that came out?
Oceanhorn?
No. There's another one. Go ahead. Go.
No, there's another one. It just came out. What was it?
Is it the one that looks like Hyper Light Drifter, but it's like 2 hours long?
Blossom
No,
Tales. Blossom
That's Phantom
Tales.
Trigger. Blossom Tales.
Blossom Tales is the name of the game. And that, I did want to mention that. I figured that out. What was it? Phantom Trails? That's the game you were thinking that looked like Hyper Light Drifter when we were talking about games on the Switch.
Yeah.
And we were like, there's that one game that looks like Hyper Light Drifter. And then I checked it out and I was like, that's got to be the game he's talking about.
Yeah, Phantom Trigger. It's not nearly as good as Hyper Light Drifter. So I honestly
Yeah, I was gonna say Hyper Light Drifter is real good.
don't bother with it because I bought it like a month ago and started playing it, and it's actually pretty bad.
Actually, Blossom. Good.
It's not terrible, but it's like after playing Hyper Light Drifter and expecting a Hyper Light Drifter experience, it is not.
Blossom Tales, actually, it's 2D. Looks like, what is it? A Link to the Past, like old 16-bit Zelda. It looks fucking awesome. It came out on Steam earlier this year, so it is a game from 2017 that I will probably play in 2018 and wish I played in 2017, even though it comes out with fucking a week left in the year. So,
as is the situation with Moose, I play a lot of indie games. Indie games kind of have my heart.
Large chunk of my heart.
Mainly because like I love interesting. I love it doesn't necessarily have to be interesting, but like I love different points of view. I feel like if you can be an indie studio in this day and age and take the mechanics and graphic style of old and make it new in a way that most people don't see coming, you're onto the right path. My first honorable mention, it is lowest on my list, and the only reason is I have no way to play it, Cuphead. It takes something that, as a film aficionado, I am super interested in, and I love animation of early Disney cartoons. Not necessarily the racist ones, because
we won't go into that.
Yeah, but like
that's another story for another time.
But like the early animation from like Steamboat Willie up through Snow White and Fantasia and Pinocchio is a beautiful thing to behold. And even with modern computers, it still isn't really achieved today. And I feel like MDHR Studios achieved something special with Cuphead, and I cannot wait till I can actually play that game. It'll probably be on PC because it's not coming to PS4. And
but we'll get Cuphead too.
I'm not getting an Xbox One, so there we go.
You got to build a PC to play it on Steam.
Exactly,
like I do, and that's what I
and when I hit the lottery, hopefully next week, we'll see what happens. The next thing I'm going to mention is The End Is Nigh from Edmund McMillan. The game's fun. I've only been. You could say you just like it because it's new. No, that game's freaking cool. The opening you get of a dude who's trying to stream the latest game, but everything breaks, so he's like pulling out the cartridge and blowing on it like old Nintendo. Reaches into it reaches into a recess of my brain that releases nothing but dopamine, so I'm in.
Why should people care about the game? What has Ed done? Tell them what he's done.
He
just real quick, just summary.
It's difficult precision platforming in the style of Super Meat Boy with Binding of Isaac stuff as well.
Why is it in that style? Because he fucking did Super Meat Boy.
Right.
On it. So, right. I'm just saying, that's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah, we did all this at the beginning of the episode, Moose, but it's fine.
I wasn't here because
you were right. That middle finger is deserved. I'm with you.
Anyways.
Second, but now we're at my top two.
Sorry.
Number two is, as Moose mentioned, Earth Atlantis. Moose and I waxed rhapsodically about that game last episode. Number one is Pyre by Supergiant Games. This game actually affected me in ways I did not expect. Like, I developed a fascination with a tabletop game called Guild Ball, and playing through Pyre actually, I think it made me better at Guild Ball, even though up to that point I had not really played. And since I've gone back to Pyre to play and then gone back to Guild Ball and sort of seen where the two meet. And for that connection alone, like, I feel like that's a special thing. Also, Steamforged Games. If you guys want a video game version of Guild Ball, you should talk to Supergiant. I'm pretty sure you guys could work something out. They look at soccer, or they look at video games the same way you look at soccer, with weapons and killing. It's great. And
they're just a great fucking studio. I hope. I hope they never strike out. They've got they've hit 3 home runs.
They've hit 3
fucking grand slam.
Yeah, there you go. Like, Bastion is
it's amazing.
Far and away, that's their best game. far and away.
Okay.
We could argue about Transistor or Pyre once you actually play Pyre, because I know you've had a busy year.
I haven't played it yet.
But Greg Kasavin and Amir Rao, I think that's the other guy. Motherfuckers know how to write stories and design mechanics around them, and Gen Z knows how to design characters.
I'm kind of I'm excited to try and pick up their deluxe edition of the game.
Honestly, these guys are the next Behemoth.
To be honest, I think they're way beyond Behemoth. I'm sorry, I love Behemoth, but I loved Castle Crashers. I loved Alien Hominid, but they are. I'm gonna say it. They're leaps and bounds.
What was Behemoth's third game? Was it Castle Crashers?
Pit People.
Battle Block.
Theater. No, Battle Block Theater, and then it was Pit People. You're right. And I just wish they weren't so attached to fucking Microsoft's dick.
Me too.
Everything after Castle Crashers just didn't really do anything for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Battle Block Theater did cool things, but like if you wanted to go game to game, you can't really compare Battle Block Theater and Pyre.
Okay.
But I feel like one thing I like about Supergiant Games is the fact that their games are decidedly theirs. The same way Kojima's games are decidedly his, the same way that Swery's games are his. They have such an artistic stamp on their material, and that is. A lot of people in cinema call that the mark of a genius, but I feel like since these individuals are sort of at the top of Supergiant, it's not just one person like Tom Happ or Humble Hearts or whatever. It's clear there are multiple individuals, very much like there are multiple individuals that are on the same wavelength, go and aiming at the same goal every time, and long may it continue.
The one thing
is amazing. Play Pyre.
The one thing I really appreciate about Supergiant is like they've made 3 kind of totally different games, and they're all fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, I played a little bit of Pyre and I liked what I played, but like the way people talk about that game makes me want to go back to it and keep playing it. And like Transistor was awesome. Like I wish Transistor was longer.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought that game did a lot of cool things that maybe required it to be a little longer to see those things get fleshed out.
Mm-hmm.
But still a great game. And what Bastion did, where like literally narrating everything that you're doing or going or that was just like.
But then having contingencies if you decided to fuck with it.
Yeah.
Like instead of you're going to continue your story, I'm going to stop in the middle of your sentence and just stay there for a little bit, and then he'll just say, apparently the kid just wanted to hang out for a little bit.
Yeah. The narrator's fucking phenomenal.
That was one of the only I actually went to YouTube and listened to the Bastion narrator's Dota announcer pack, and even that's fucking cool. It's a game I don't play. I will never play. I will never fully understand. I will never feel confident enough to step into that arena. I will listen to somebody talk about that.
I will say like their soundtracks are fucking awesome.
Oh hell yeah.
So if you're not familiar, like you could go to Supergiant Games to the store right now. Currently, like I was saying, I'm waiting for the Pyre starter pack, but you could pick up they're all actually on sale right now, but you can pick up the Bastion starter pack and you can pick up the Transistor starter pack. And the Bastion starter pack comes with an autograph drawing of Bastion. You get the soundtrack, you get a bandana, you get the T-shirt, and then I believe you get a copy of the game digitally. I already owned it on on 360 when I had my brother pick it up for Christmas, and I haven't gotten the Transistor one yet. I want to get the Transistor one. It's kind of the same thing where you get, a copy of the soundtrack, you get a T-shirt, you get a digital copy of the game, and then I'm hoping they do that with Pyre, so that I can get a Pyre T-shirt. So it's freaking insane. It's awesome. They do a great job with their games. They do a great job with their art style. Their soundtracks are fucking awesome. Also, so like Transistor soundtrack, T-shirt, ringtones for your Android or iOS, and then you get a Cloud Bank art print. And I'm hoping that one's signed, because the one that came, it might be the earlier adapters that got the Bastion one, but mine's signed by like everybody that's involved with Bastion. So it's pretty fucking cool. But anyways, yeah, Pyre's, I can't wait to play it. That would be my biggest disappointing moment of 2017 is that I haven't played Pyre. So
I feel like that studio in general understands developing characters. And I think they take a lot of that from probably other media they like, other media they respect. But especially in Pyre, because there are a ton of characters in Pyre, but all of them understand their flaws. And that seems like a vague thing, but most well-written characters in video games don't think they have any flaws, let alone do they acknowledge them. But every single character in Pyre, from the ones you play as to the other ones that have little bits of dialogue before matches, you get such a clear picture of them, without everything being, this guy is this way because this person is this way because this, and they interact together because this. It all doesn't have to be fully explained. They just convey a picture with both use of language and lack of language. And it's a beautiful thing. I'm going to spoil it right now. It's my second favorite game of the year.
Nice.
Pyre is my second favorite game of the year. And every time I play a Supergiant game, I'm like, why don't I have these soundtracks on vinyl?
Seriously, they're on sale on the store, bro.
They're phenomenal.
God,
all of them.
So good.
So play Supergiant games, just any of them. Any other thoughts on categories for 2017? Anything you'd like to talk about before we wrap up?
Not really. This has been one of the best years for games, and in a year where not exactly everything else is great.
Yeah, that's for
at
sure.
least video games have been in a good place this year, and it was really cool to see a lot of things happen the way we wanted to in that respect, where Guerrilla's new IP turned out to be fantastic. Nintendo has put out a product everybody loves for once.
Everybody, Nintendo put out a product that everybody really, really, really wanted to hate.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Moose, you can back me up on this one.
Yes.
Because you and I both trolled some Switch at the beginning.
Oh God. Well, they just go against the, okay, it's so not technical. It's like a fucking tablet. You're playing on a tablet, but
I feel like they said, hey, this is what you want, but I think we might have something you need.
Yeah, exactly. In a day and age where you're like 4K, 60 frames, you play Zelda, and I'll be honest, like you don't notice it. Like it just it plays. You play the game and you enjoy it, and I feel like the Switch is helping me become more like Matthew Keel and less like Matt Phillips. Even though I love Captain Canada.
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know what the bad side of that is. I'm pretty sure it's me.
No, there's no bad side to it because I feel the Switch is just helping me enjoy games again.
Yeah.
Like I'm not worried about frame rate. I'm not worried about connecting with my friends. I'm not worried about trophies. In all honesty, the reason I love the Switch is because there's no fucking trophies, and it doesn't make me like insane about like I want to try and get as many trophies as I can. I just play the fucking games. I just play the games and enjoy them.
To be fair, Zelda has one gold trophy for you,
and it's a turd.
Yeah. All right. Side note, it's also personally, it's great for multiplayer. Like me and a coworker of mine, like someday, like at least 2-3 days out of the week, we'll eat lunch together and then we'll sit down and play Mario Kart. So now I'm looking at other multiplayer games that we can get. Side note for the listeners out there, Hammerwatch just came out, which is kind of like a Diablo, like 16-bit pixel-based dungeon crawler.
Hammerwatch like, for the Hammer Bros.
It's like $10. I bought it yesterday and I played a little bit of it. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to diving into it, but I can give him one of the Joy-Cons with the add-on on, and I can play with the other, and we could just sit there and have a good time just playing that at lunch, you know, like just killing stuff, you know? And so it's cool for multiplayer, like in an environment. And we've had multiple people, like we play in the break room at work, and we've had multiple people be like, what is that? Or they'll be like, oh, I got to come over and check out the Switch, because some people are, you know, they're in, you know, they know video games, and they're like, I know what that is. I just, you know, I want to come check it out, you know? And some people are like, what are y'all playing? And we're like, we're playing Mario Kart. And they're like, you're playing Mario Kart? We're like, yeah. Like, what are you playing on? We're like, this is the Switch. And they're like, holy shit, that's awesome, you know? So
working in healthcare, I work with a lot of parents, and they've seen me playing this Switch. Like, oh, my kid wants that. Can you tell me about it? I'm like, yes, I can.
Let's sit down and have a conversation. Yeah. So, anyways.
I have a podcast about video. And they're like, I don't know what a podcast is. I'm like, I will just tell you about the Switch.
All right, bro. Bros, I should say.
Bros.
I feel like I say bro because you and I are talking more than Corey is, but
that's fine. Let's end this. Moose can be found at Sven on PSN and Instagram. He has Xbox and Steam. He has a friend code.
I'm on Twitter.
He's on Twitter at Sven as well, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, but I'm rarely tweeting that. But anyways,
yeah, he's not tearing up the Twitter sphere. No. But that's where you can find him. You can find me at infinite_rewind on every social media platform I choose to be on. PS4, that's what it is. Twitter, that's what it is. Instagram, that's what it is. I don't know my Switch friend code, and I'm never going to memorize that shit. So friend me somewhere else and ask in a private message. If you tell me who you are, maybe I'll tell you.
That's my stance too.
Like, I would rather, I mean, I'm all up for playing with people, but I'm not just handing out my shit to strangers. My parents taught me better. Corey, take us home, sir.
You don't want to catch herpes from somebody.
I mean,
that's a life lesson.
Yes,
it is. It is.
You keep that shit forever, like luggage.
You just don't want your stuff hanging out in the breeze where anyone can get a handle on it.
Word.
Oh, jeez. You can find me at Corey and HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can let's see, where else can you find me? You can find me
Rogue
on
Spartan
PSN,
4 on PSN.
Spartan 4, yeah.
NGR Radio.
Yeah, you can find me on this
I'm
show.
on an NGR radio.
Yeah. We're also going to start live streaming these shows on Twitch, by the way. I should probably tell you guys that.
Oh, man.
That'd be
ready
nice
for that? Y'all ready for that? Going live? Ready for that?
Twitch.tv/NGR Radio.
I'd like to mention to the listeners out there, I think the last show Corey was on, he said he was going to play some multiplayer with us. the following Sunday night. Dang, guess who didn't fucking show up?
Yeah, guess who was playing Warframe?
Guess who? All they have to do is message a motherfucker and say, "Let's play something."
I believe that following Sunday, Moose and I were playing Bloodborne.
Yeah.
And you said you wanted to join, but then you didn't show up Sunday night because you're always hiding offline.
So I can't. It just takes a Facebook message. It takes a Facebook message to say, "Hey, buddy, I see you playing Warframe. I'm on PS4. Let's play something." And I'll hop over.
Yeah, quit playing multiplayer Vanquish. Come play some Fortnite.
So, yeah, I'll play some Fortnite.
Word.
I tagged you in a Fortnite post today, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't played it in a while, and I loved that. Totally encapsulated it because it's just Homer just sitting in the window looking out. It's like, yeah, when you're looting a house and you hear footsteps, you're like, oh shit. You're like, where's that coming from?
Yep.
But anyways, I'm calling you out, Corey. We're gonna play something together sometime soon.
We'll play Fortnite this week.
That's a goddamn lie. But anyways, I appreciate the effort. Anyways, gentlemen, I'm going to bed because I have to be up in 3 hours.
We're
Me
all
too.
going to bed. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next week.
Banana
Love y'all.
and out.
Love y'all, motherfuckers.
I gotta stop it.
Yeah, you do.
He's like, wait a second, I'm in control.
I'm hosting. This is why. This is bloopers. Bloopers.